Hello and welcome in to the Fantasy Six Pack Network. I am your host, Justin Bruni, and this is Best Ball After Dark. Tonight we are going to be covering top sleeper RBs in best ball, as well as adjusting and reacting to the ADP risers and fallers in the market. We are going to have a hotbed of movement here in the next day or so. I will pull up a draft that I just completed a few hours ago so we can get some real in-time reactions to some of the RB values at the back end of our Ball Mania V drafts. Let's be sure to smash the like button, share the video, and follow the Fantasy Six Pack Network. Again, we're also going to cover the risers and fallers in the market. I'm going to be covering the players from the last 7 days, and then we're going to jump into a live Ball Mania V draft. This will be number 137. I have 14 to go, including this one I'm going to do on air with you guys tonight. I'm not sure if we'll make it to next Tuesday. I'm not sure if we'll make it to another one. So I definitely wanted to get one more in with you guys just to make sure, just to play it safe. If I can safeguard like my last 10 and maybe, just maybe get one day after Labor Day with 1 or 2 left, I'll definitely try to. But my goal is to not be overly worried about drafting on my 3-day weekend as I'm, setting sail into the start of the 2024 NFL season and the conclusion to best ball summer. It had to come at some point. Going to be maxing out, like I said, at the 150. So very excited to, get it to a close. I've kept all of my exposures nice and tight, nice and even. No one over 25%. Knock on wood, I maintain that. Right now, I believe Brandon Cooks is my most exposed player at 24%, followed up by a mixture of Chuba Hubbard, Jaleel McLaughlin, Austin Eckler, and Calvin Ridley. Very tight there between 24 and 22%, maybe 21% for Ridley. But regardless, very tight at the top of my list, meaning I've really spread it out. I've really run my rosters deep with a lot of different diversification across every position. So feeling very good. Specifically also quarterback and tight end, and I have no one over 15%. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Let's go ahead and pull up that draft board I was referring to. Again, this draft I finished just a few hours ago. So, the juice is definitely freshly squeezed. Let me get this screen pulled up here. All right, here we go. All right, we're going to be just starting off right at the bottom. We're going to be looking from rounds 18 up to round 10. So let's zoom in here a little bit so you guys can see this. Here we go. All right, so to close the draft, we had Cam Akers go in Houston. It's been a pretty popular sleeper pick as of late. Just folks aren't that high on Dameon Pierce. It looks like Cam Akers is going to make the roster. So you do have a little bit of a, battle behind Joe Mixon, who for the most part, stays healthy, but he is a bulk volume running back. I think this is a perfectly fine area to take a Cam Akers, but you also see Dameon Pierce going in the same round, and he's just been the name that I've been clicking for the majority of best ball summer. A name I've slowed down a bit, but he's still like right around like 20% exposure, and that's just because we've seen a lot of good things out of him. As of late, not so much for Cam Akers, but there is always that comeback opportunity. Oh wow, I just noticed like just right down the line here, Elijah Mitchell was drafted after being put on season-ending IR. Ouch. Ouch, Al Peterson. Read the game notes. Read the game notes, Al. But back to round 18, Carson Steele. He's been another popular one. I took a stab at him last night. The only problem was he was my 6th running back drafted. My 5th was Deneric Prince. I was like, yeah, let's just go with some back-end RBs from Kansas City. That didn't age well. That didn't age well in the past 24 hours. I still feel okay because I've got a solid diversified 5. And that was kind of the whole thing with pigeonholing the last 2 running back slots with those Kansas City guys. Steele's fast. I could see him get some work on kick returns, punt returns. He's got a lot of speed and a lot of upside. And CEH, he hasn't been there. He's dealing with like some type of, I don't want to say mental issues. That sounds harsh, but he's dealing with some internal problems, if you will. He's working those out. I'm not sure if he's back. I haven't really seen any news about that. He hasn't been a name that I've really been clicking, outside of maybe like the first month of the start of the Ball Mania V competition. So not too much to write home about in that last round, other than really Carson Steele. I mean, you almost saw Cam Akers go undrafted there. I would certainly have Cam Akers over Elijah Mitchell, who's a round 17 running back that we're going to review here. But first up, we have Justice Hill, who's someone I've been clicking a lot of as of late. We saw a lot of positive coach speak out of Harbaugh, and that lends to some upside. I mean, this is still a team that loves to run the ball. Hill has that speed to, hit the outside corner, be used as a pass catching threat, and, appropriately spell a run heavy, rush heavy Derrick Henry, right? So I think he's in a good role there, and he is definitely a name that I'm clicking at the back end of my drafts. That's been pretty consistent as of late, and I do consider him a very strong sleeper pick. So even buying him up to round 16, I have no issue with whatsoever. I think if you have some other stacks or correlation or connection to the Ravens, a very fine pick to end your draft. You could even, toss in some Justice Hill and Isaiah Likely if you landed Lamar Jackson naked. That's kind of common where you're seeing him go at an affordable ADP in round 4, end of round 4 at that. And you see other people around you like, oh, I'm going to snipe this guy. I'm not going to let him easily get that Andrew stack. I'm not going to let him get that Zay Flower stack. Well, you do have some back end of the draft targets like Bateman, Devontae Walker, Likely, and a sleeper running back in Justice Hill. So definitely a name that I've been clicking in round 17, if not later, when he does fall. And that does happen. A lot of people are going, or he is going, I should say, unnoticed for a lot of people. All right, next up, Tank Bigsby of the Jaguars. A good late round pick for sure, but this guy's just been living in round 17, round 18. I'm not really getting that creative here. Good handcuff if you drafted ETN and you want to go 6 running backs deep. Maybe you just, had an anchor RB or a double anchor RB situation and you're just trying to load up on some depth. Good offense to be a part of. It's just a deep group. We know how efficient the run game can be. If ETN's healthy, huge roadblock. We saw him look a little bit better in the preseason, so I'll give him that. But at the same time, not someone that I've drafted a lot of. I don't know if he necessarily has sleeper upside just because he's limited to, an injury handcuff. I see a guy like Justice Hill having more standalone value, even with a Derrick Henry over a Tank Bigsby up against a healthy or full-time Travis Etienne. Elijah Mitchell here, don't draft him. Don't do it. He's gone. It's done. It's over with. It's now Jordan Mason season, apparently. Saw someone on Twitter saying, round 10. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just continue to take someone who's significantly discounted, round 10, 11, 12, whatever it is. That's an absurd ADP just because Elijah Mitchell just went down with an injury. The 49ers could easily add a depth piece at running back to supplant that production or supplant his absence. We just saw Donta Foreman get cut by the Browns. Might be a likely move, kind of a similar, heavy body back. I mean, I'm somebody that believes in Elijah Mitchell when healthy. You're playing behind CMC. He had 100 all-purpose yards per game as a rookie with the 49ers. Maybe it more speaks to the system, the coaching, the scheme. However, this is a group that I'm betting is going to double down, get somebody, maybe promote Isaac Guerrero with more touches. It's just hard for me to buy Jordan Mason at such an accelerated cost. If I'm getting him anywhere 15 or later, I think that's perfectly fine. But again, Al Peterson here making a big boo-boo with his round 17 pick. Maybe he auto-drafted. I don't know. I'm not sure. Looks like round 16 consisted of 0 running backs. Would you look at that? 0 running backs in round 16. What does that tell you? Opportunity time. Opportunity time. Also, this draft probably got a little bit crazy with the running backs. All right. Round 15, Antonio Gibson, Tyrone Tracy, and Kamani Vidal. Vidal, stock is up. The team cut Isaiah Spiller. That's a good sign, but this is still a situation where he's waiting for an injury. And drafting him still to this day and going forward to close down best ball summer, you have to be betting on that injury from Dobbins, that injury from Gus Edwards for him to have any true upside, right? Right now, Vidal does not have any standalone value. Yes, the offense is going to run the ball a lot, but you have 2 running backs that offensive coordinator Greg Roman is super familiar with in Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins. It's going to be their show. Like that's going to be the case. They know what he wants to do. He knows what he can get out of them when both healthy. So again, betting on Vidal, someone that I want to fall into my lap, not necessarily someone I do want to reach to. Maybe he does fall into that round 16 and he's the only running back going in that space. Got a fly near me? What the hell's going on? Bugging up my ADP talk here. Still want him to drop, want him to fall in ADP a little bit and scoop up that value. Not looking to get aggressive on him. Again, I just noted some other running backs after his value, so you don't need to be in a rush to go after Kamani Vidal. Again, if you're doing like a running back stack, make sure you get the 6 RBs, and maybe you can plug him in with, a couple late round clicks with him and Dobbins or him and Edwards. But even that, I would just prefer to diversify, as I've said at the top of the show, and just get, some value elsewhere. Vidal was one of my sucker clicks this summer for sure, and that's because I wasn't betting on Dobbins having a positive season. I didn't even know if he'd make it to week 1. He's here, he's done it, and I've had to pump the brakes on Vidal. So that's definitely one player that I've gotten wrong, in my opinion, up to date. I've definitely fallen off of him. When you find out that a beat reporter, he gets asked, oh, hey, how's Vidal doing? And he says, who? That's a problem, right? That's not good. That's a bad sign. But regardless, since camp started, his stock's been going down. We've been drafting less of him, and he has become more of a value. But again, someone continue to wait for the fall. Buy the dip. Do not pull him up the board. Tyrone Tracy, I guess he's fine. He got hurt. We all fell apart. We all kind of broke down. I've been drafting less of him since his small, brief injury. Okay to grab him, but again, a player coming in off of injury, it's kind of like Tyler Lockett. Like, I don't want to get more Tyler Lockett right now because he's nursing an injury, probably won't be gone long, certainly not going to be put on the IR or the PUP by any means, but it's tough for me to get really high or get in on somebody without a significant discount when they're coming in a little beaten, bothered, and injured to start the season. So again, not someone that I'm itching to go and grab, but he has been a top sleeper, for most of the offseason. It's tough to believe that Devin Singletary can just dominate that backfield. He's got a good connection with Dable, but is that going to be enough? I don't think so. The offensive line is bad. They're going to need to change it up. Singletary's going to take his licks. He's going to be beaten, bothered. So I think there's definitely an opportunity for Tyrone Tracy, but we also saw Eric Gray have success in this preseason, and you might see a bit of a 3-headed monster there until we see a domino fall with an injury or someone just really takes off as a backup behind Singletary, because it sounds like based off of what I saw in the offseason Hard Knock show, they're just super hard on Devin Singletary, just calling him Turbo all the time. He's not even on the team. They're like, oh yeah, Turbo, he's our fall guy. Like, if they don't get Barkley, like, oh, we're already planning on Turbo. Like, all right, I get it. Guy's fast, but come on now. Turbo? Like the right trigger button? I don't know if that's Devin Singletary. I'm just saying. I don't know. Seems like an inflated, nickname. Just saying, Or maybe there's another, underlying definition we should know about. Maybe something personal. Kind of like B-Rabbit. You get me. Smash the like button, share the video. Let's go. Follow Fantasy Six Pack Network. Antonio Gibson. The only reason I feel like I'm never drafting Antonio Gibson is because he has a round 14 bye, and I just constantly have round 14 bye running backs. I'm not scared of it. All right, I'll do it. I think today I did 3 running backs in week 6 buys. I'm not scared of it. I just don't love to do it. I don't prefer to do it. Right. I like to give myself a bit of an advantage. Obviously, been talking about diversification a lot in this channel. You just want to make sure that you're getting a nice, healthy, balanced build. And to date, I don't have a ton of Antonio Gibson, but a very good situation. You're going to have a short throw QB out of whoever the starter is, whether Brissett's healthy, May's healthy, whatever it is. You're not going to have a quarterback that's going to consistently throw the ball down the field. Antonio Gibson should collect a lot of targets. I would dare say 75 to 80 targets, maybe around 60 catches this year. He could be the wide receiver 2. All right, maybe we'll pump the B's there. Maybe we'll say wide receiver 3. I like Jalen Polk. I like Demario Douglas. But again, when you're looking at this offense, it's going to be bad. There's going to be, plenty of possessions for these guys because they're always going to be playing from behind. Positive game script. It's not a bad situation. It's just not a sexy name. If he was with the Commanders, his ADP probably be something similar. If Eckler wasn't there and it was just him and B-Rob. But you know what I mean? Like the name isn't sexy. The situation isn't sexy, but the role, the potential game script, I think will be pretty good. I think will be pretty solid. Let's look at round 14 here. We've got Khalil Herbert, Bucky Irving, Marshawn Lloyd. Marshawn Lloyd was on a huge decline in ADP. We're going to cover it on the ADP running back review. He was down like 10 spots. He's at the very top for running backs in the last 7 days. And now we see A.J. Dillon go on the IR, season-ending injury. We see Marshawn Lloyd not go on the PUP or the IR. So many are believing the stock is up. He's my 20th most exposed running back. Nothing too bold there, but I had like 12%, and I've got it down to, I believe, about 10%. So I've been pumping the bees on him as well as, like I was mentioning with Vidal. I've been slowing up my exposure to Marshawn Lloyd, but this is a backfield that I always expected to be a mixture of a shared workload, because that's what LaFleur does. If you see what he does with receivers, what do you think he's going to do with running backs? I don't care if it's Josh Jacobs, if they sign Saquon Barkley, Isaiah Pacheco. It doesn't matter what running back they would have there. They would always have some type of split exposure for both guys. They would always be interchanging the ball. You saw it last year with Aaron Jones. Super frustrating, right? Super frustrating. Legs up for Aaron Jones in Minnesota. In this situation, it sounds like the picture is getting a little bit brighter for Marshawn Lloyd. I've seen people saying this is a complete turnaround to 10 days ago. We need to start prioritizing him again. I don't know about that. I mean, I'm not doing it. I have plenty. Like I said, 20th most exposed. I would say sit tight on him. I don't think you buy him at ADP. I think you still see if you get a fall. I still think you can take advantage of some more like casual players. If you're sitting in a position in your draft room, you're not surrounded by badges. There's no red, there's no black anchoring your left and right. Maybe you make a move like that. Maybe you sit around and wait for a Marshawn Lloyd still. I do believe there's going to be drafts where he goes above expected cost or at cost, but given the situation, there's no clear news like he's like 100% healthy, when he'll be back, if he'll be ready for week one. Someone's saying, I saw on Twitter that, he could be ready for week one now. I don't know about all that, but week 2, week 3, that still fits into the narrative to avoid, the IR or the PUP, and that still could be a positive sign for his season-long value. But like I just mentioned about, Lockett and Vidal, really tough to, come back in and buy that value when they're, they're a little dinged up. Or that was Tyrone Tracy, excuse me. With Tyrone Tracy and Lloyd. I just don't love buying that, that injury factor. I don't like buying into it at cost. If you can get a little bit of a dip, I think that's a good thing. Still waiting for Khalil Herbert to get traded. It's super harsh. I guess I should check now, right? I guess I should just pull it up and see. It could happen any minute, right? I'm seeing all these potential trades. I'm a Bears fan about, getting Micah Parsons, giving up Khalil Herbert and a one. Stop it. You're going to get me too excited. Come on, man. Come on. Just keep that down, Twitter. Keep that down. That would be super exciting. Rest in peace, Austin Booker season. But my goodness, that would be exciting. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's a bit of a lopsided trade in favor of the Bears. I don't care if the Cowboys can't pay Micah Parsons. A bit lopsided, a bit lofty. I would love to see Herbert moved. I love Roschon Johnson. I love Khalil Herbert. I would love the opportunity for one of them to shine brightly behind DeAndre Swift. It's going to be very difficult with both of them there. So I think for my Herbert exposure, I have a lot of him as well. Don't know the exact number. We'll have my numbers up here soon when we're covering the AB or the RB ADP market. But I would love for him to get moved. There's been the Dallas talk. I haven't really seen any other teams. I guess anyone's possible with a hungry running back need, but do you want to, it's not like the Colts are going to go and trade for him. I know they just cut Evan Hall, but they're not going to do something like that. I just can't think of another team that would really want to buy in. Maybe if the Raiders just weren't sold on Madison, but it seems like they're fine there with that situation. I know that there was some negative, Zamir White talk. Zach Charbonnet's nursing an injury. I just don't see those types of teams, like even Seattle, making a move like that. Maybe the Giants, who I just referenced, pretty thin there. But again, what are you going to give up? A 7th? Is that worth it? I would. If I'm a GM, I'd give up a 7th for Khalil Herbert, but I'm a little close to the situation. I'm a little biased as a Bears fan. Still a great sleeper. And again, he's one of my top guys exposed at the running back position. So I'll have the number up here soon. But someone I've been buying all best ball summer, definitely more so than Roschon, just because if this situation does stay steady, then I think that Herbert still is in favor of Roschon. Roschon could have a spike week or two, but I think that Roschon is too similar to Swift. You need the full injury to Swift for him to have real trust or big upside. I think Herbert could still be used sporadically with Swift healthy and in the lineup. You could see him get 8 to 10 touches a game. And I think in that offense, it's going to be improved. efficiency levels all going up. I think that's going to be a good thing for Herbert, and this makes him a value in round 14. Round 15 would sound a lot sexier because I think that's more so when I was drafting him. Bucky Irving in round 14, there's been nothing but positive talk around Bucky Irving, which does concern me a little, but I've been buying him with some variety, probably like 7 or 8% Bucky Irving. Not a ton, but not super low on him. I love the situation. I mean, we were looking for somebody to supplant Rachaad White last year. Everybody was all in on Sean Tucker. It could just be wheels up for Rachaad White again. Does he finish inside the top 10 for running backs? It could be very likely in a team that will have to throw the ball a lot. The upside for Irving is that I trust him actually as a runner a little bit more than Rachaad White. So I'm interested to see how the role unfolds there. I'm not really that interested, though, in getting Irving, naked without any correlation. Some of these other guys like Herbert, Gibson, I'm perfectly fine with that because I just know that they're going to have a role, again, like whether Herbert's there or not. Same thing with like Justice Hill. I know what he's going to be. This isn't like a handcuff situation, right? Like you can get Irving, for some standalone value because they need and they're thriving for somebody with a little bit more efficiency in between the tackles. And the public, with myself included, are believing that Bucky Irving can be that guy. So again, Lloyd, Herbert, and Irving in round 14. Moving on to round 13, we've got JMC, Jalil, Daddy, McLaughlin. Whew, so excited. It's almost the start of the season. McLaughlin's only going in better directions. They just cut P. Ryan. Estime still there, but super, super pumped for my JMC stocks this season. He's going to be a big factor in the offense. I still believe he can take over as the RB1 just based off of, per touch efficiency. I think that at week 7 or week 8, if Javonte Williams isn't really booming, if he isn't really, breaking off big runs, he's not being efficient with his per yard touch. I very, very much see the situation flipping around where you could see Javonte Williams used inside the 20s, and you're seeing, Jalil McLaughlin used everywhere else in between. Very good situation. Name that I've been buying a ton of. Round 13, definitely a lot more expensive, but a very, very good sleeper. Ray Davis, with pick 147 there, you're buying, the connection to the Buffalo Bills offense, and that's really it. You have to buy in that he is going to be the second down back. He's going to have red zone opportunities. He does have some pass catching upside. I don't know if that really hurts James Cook. I think that we're more looking at Ray Davis as a guy who can steal goal line touches from either Josh Allen or James Cook. I'm okay buying into that, but be careful, tread lightly, not someone that I want to be overweight on. So if you have been drafting all best ball summer, I do think it's still time to slow him down because his cost is getting higher and higher and higher. And I'm not okay with just out a clear enough picture. Still an offense I believe is going to have to pass the ball a lot. They have all the weapons to do that, to really spread it out and give Josh Allen some options. Hopefully he can be a little bit more efficient. And then you still have Josh Allen stealing touchdowns. So it's tough for me to continue to buy Ray Davis. I have sprinkled him in, just not someone that I want a ton of. Jordan Mason, round 13. Here it is. Whew. No. I get how you could think that this is a good territory because, look, it's Tyler Algier. It's another round 1 running back's handcuff. Don't care. I know what Tyler Algier can do. We've seen Tyler Algier have standalone value. He had like 128 fantasy points last year. I know that Arthur Smith isn't there. I get that. Things have changed in Atlanta. But you still have a team that's going to need to protect their RB1. And I would much rather have Tyler Algier at his natural ADP than just playing some mirage of guessing game within a 48-hour window where I could see another running back added to the 49ers. I'm not buying Jordan Mason at this value. Again, even 12, 10, or whatever, 12, 10, 11, not going to do it. I mentioned it earlier about the whole round 10 thing. This still is too much for me. Still too much. I don't like him in this territory. If we're talking maybe in like the Gibson, Tracy, Vidal, I know that's only 2 rounds, but that's like 24 picks. I think I might be more in. And it's also just because of other players in this territory, right? Like the quarterbacks, the tight ends that I'm soaking up. And again, the diversification. Like, I don't know if I want to completely dive in to Jordan Mason when I don't know what the concrete situation is going to be. I got Jordan Mason last week, I think in round 18. Why am I paying 5-round increase this week? I'll take my 1. If that's all I got, if that's all I'll have, then I'll just have 1 share. It's fine. I'll figure it out. As I said, lots of players on my board, and you will see here as I pull up the exposures. Braylon Allen, another super expensive cost, someone that was going around 18. It's tough paying this advanced price for him. I'd rather buy a fall or someone that I might even want to move up 4 or 5 picks because I want to correlate or do something unique. It's tough for me to continue to buy it. If you're only getting in a handful of drafts and this is it for you and we're coming down the stretch, then maybe you're buying a little bit of Braylon Allen, or if you have some connection, to the offense. All right, bringing it up to round 12, we've got Trey Benson, Chandler, Dobbins, and Charbonnet. Like Charbonnet the least here, probably like Trey Benson the most. I still think that being James Conner's handcuff and backup is a good thing. Like, I love him. I hope he does well every year, but he's also bound to get hurt. And I think that offense is going to be a lot better than it was last year and the year before. Love the elite weapons out of Marvin Harrison and Trey McBride and the floor that Conner can bring the offense. And that brings in Trey Benson, who, one, has looked very good, and two, it's a good situation behind an aging running back on a team that will need that role solidified. Like, they also just cut Michael Carter. That's also a good sign for him. So Trey Benson, love him there. Ty Chandler probably after that, just because, we've seen Aaron Jones get hurt a lot. There's a ton of opportunity there playing with bad QBs. Sam Darnold, maybe they have to, trade for a guy or go get Jameis Winston or something. The situation's not great, and it lends to a lot of passing to the running back position. And what I've heard most out of that camp, it's going to be a split backfield. They're just not going to give one guy, a ton of volume, and they're going to go back and forth. A good tug of war that could go in favor to the value pick in Ty Chandler. J.K. Dobbins, wasn't buying a ton of them this offseason. Like I said, I was getting a little bit overweight on Vidal, buying more of them now. Definitely adjusting a little bit, trying to swap that ADP between him and my Vidal exposures. I'm not doing it a ton, but when the opportunity arises, I'm not shy about it. I'll get J.K. Dobbins on my team. I can take that one on the chin and say that I was wrong. Zach Charbonnet also coming back from injury. I think the last report I saw was like 5 days ago. He's still not back at practice, so not sure what the last 5 days have brought since then, but someone that's slowly easing their way back in. Not sure if I want to buy a ton of him. Good situation if Kenneth Walker goes down, but I just love the receivers there a little bit more. I haven't really bought into that backfield a ton, regardless, other than some more than casual shares of Kenneth Walker. Chuba Hubbard, Zeke Elliott, and Jalen Wright. Certainly love Chuba Hubbard here the most, the guy that I've certainly taken the most of that bunch. Jalen Wright would be after for me. Zeke Elliott, you're just chasing touchdowns. That's all that you're doing here is chasing touchdowns. Hubbard, I still believe, will be a great option throughout the season. I know that everyone is on Team Brooks. Oh, he'll be back week 3. Well, apparently you haven't heard of the PUP list, first off, because he was never going to start week 1. Not sure why that would have been the case, why people were expecting him back week 3. Little too early, guys. I'm expecting maybe week 5, week 6, we could see him, getting into the lineup. But does that mean he has a full revamp of production after just not being there the entire time? I don't think so. I want to buy as much Chuba Hubbard as possible. I have a ton of them. He's at the top of my board for running backs, but I've been slowing down just because I do have so much. But great value there. Love late round Panther stacks. He fits into that build, so definitely go out and get him. Jalen Wright, I'll take him naked. I mean, it's just a good situation. Prolific offense. They score a lot of points. They're going to be in the red zone. One injury, and he is right there for at least 140 fantasy points. Again, that's probably from the course of the season. Let's say 10 to 12 fantasy points per game, half-point PPR, easily. You can see that, from what we saw last year between Achane and Mostert. Mostert had 18 touchdowns. If he were to get hurt and you just have Wright and you just have Achane, that they'll divide the ball right down the line. They'll give both guys their opportunities. So still a good situation to buy into. Gus Edwards, Nick Chubb in round 11. I like getting me some Gus Edwards, but it's just kind of meh. A little bit of a better Zeke. 13 rushing touchdowns last year. Sounds like he should have a safe floor in that Greg Roman offense. Again, they're very familiar with each other, but is it that sexy? No. If you're going 0 RB, anchor RB, you're going to probably wind up getting Gus Edwards or Zeke on your team. Just some safe late round potential exposure to guys that can score at least 10 rushing touchdowns. I don't hate either of them to really do that this year. Zeke could be like RB 24 and probably get double-digit rushing touchdowns with just how bad he'll do on the ground. So going to be an interesting situation for both. Nick Chubb and Jerome Ford still going so close together. Great news for Jerome Ford with Donta Foreman getting cut. I felt like someone else either got cut or was put on IR as well. No, they still have Pierce Strong there. So I think Jerome Ford and Pierce Strong to start the season. If I'm right about that, take a peek really quick here. But again, Jerome Ford, I've just been buying a ton of all year long. We always knew that Chubb was going to come into the year with an injury. No one really expected him to be back week 1. And you're really buying Chubb as like your 4th, 5th, or 6th running back, just in hopes that, hey, he could come back and give you 8 Nick Chubb weeks. I'm all into that. I've definitely drafted enough of him to say, oh, I'd like that to happen. But meanwhile, Jerome Ford's going to be a weapon no matter what. Whether Nick Chubb is there, he's not there, they'll always include him because they're never going to just overload Nick Chubb as soon as he comes back from a serious injury. They love Nick Chubb. They want him to stay there forever. Hope that happens. Some more knocking on wood. Great situation for him. Always been an excellent brownie, if you will. One of the better highlights of their squad. But Jerome Ford's just going to be there doing his thing. He's just going to be a consistent threat. An offense that is supposed to be good, right? I mean, you got Deshaun Watson, paid him a ton of money. You got Amari Cooper still. They were trying to trade for Brandon Ayuk. You got a great offensive line, great run scheme. I mean, the offense is supposed to be good. So it's a good situation to be tied to, at least in theory. And then last up here, we're going to get into the ADP talk. We've got Austin Eckler. Again, just another name I've been buying a ton of. The ADP value is completely skewed there. No different than, Deontay Johnson earlier this year. He wanted to go somewhere, Austin Eckler, where he was going to be used to his skill set, which is catching passes. He was very disgruntled with Kellen Moore last year, his usage. He said as much to the Godfather, Matthew Berry, at Super Bowl Row about, hey, I don't know if I'm going to go back to the Chargers. They brought in Greg Roman. Greg Roman doesn't really use running backs like me. I'm going to go somewhere where I'm going to be used and leveraged to my skill set. And then he lands in DC. We see Jahan Dotson get moved. That's helpful. Certainly helpful to Ben Sinnott drafters, Austin Eckler drafters, Terry McLaurin targeters. I'm very hip to Austin Eckler this year. I think he's going to be a consistent threat in that offense. Again, young QB who needs safe, short throws. Enter Sir Austin Eckler. Brian Robinson probably steals some touchdowns. That's gonna suck. That's gonna hurt a little bit. But the safe floor from pass catching opportunities, I'm there. I'm all signed up for it. Let's ride. All right, so we got our presentation here. We're looking at the ADP risers from the last week here. So Tank Bigsby, wow, that's a climb. Going from round, again, 18 to round 17. You're getting down to the end of the season. You're seeing the guys that that you trust with a lot of swings being taken in the last round. You can easily see, like we saw in this last draft, Tank Bigsby going up to round 17. 1 round increase there. Braylon Allen, again, becomes more expensive. A round 14 click becomes a round 13 click. He's been the biggest riser all summer long. Kamani Vidal rising 7 spots in the last 7 days is super interesting to me because he was all but written off. So the best ball community was doing their part in the streets, cloak and dagger, making sure they still got him. I love it. No one was buying into the camp, I guess, bad coach speak. I don't know if I heard any bad coach speak, but we just never saw him get used. He's always low on the depth chart. We've got people saying they don't even know who he is. It's like in the building. That's a problem. But regardless, again, the streets keeping him up 7 spots. Very interesting. Ray Davis, like I mentioned, he's another name that's been climbing because he's attached to that high-scoring Buffalo Bills offense. I'm okay with it. You're seeing that he's already 99% rostered. How is Braylon Allen only 86%? That's crazy to me. That's nuts. Tank Bigsby, actually, I just saw is at 65%. So also a unique click from him. You're getting a little bit more of a creativity in your lineup if you do draft yourself some Tank Bigsby. But let's keep going down the list here. Bucky Irving, we covered. Good situation. The public just getting a little bit more in on him. Justice Hill, again, like most of the names that we've covered here, getting some climb in ADP. Pick 195. Only 5 picks, like only 5 spots. That's not a lot. So kind of consistently living now in that round 15, but was someone that was easily a round 18 pick just about a month ago. Rico Dowdle. Love it. Love it. They were flying in Dalvin Cook to give him a look, see what they can get out of him. And they said, hey, bud, practice squad. That's it. That's all. That's the best we can do right now. And Dalvin Cook probably left the building and went elsewhere. We'll see what happens. But when I saw that news, I was like, sweet, more Uncle Rico Dowdle. Let's be sure to continue to get him. Jordan Mason, it only says 3.8 right now. Tomorrow, it's probably going to say like 9 or no, like 20 something. What am I talking about? If he was up 3 from last week and that was like round 17, he's going to be up like 30, 40 spots. It's going to be ridiculous. Bad math there on my part. My bad. And he's still somehow 31% rostered. He's more rostered than Justice Hill, who has been a better value up to the preseason. Like Jordan Mason, no one was really drafting him until recently, until they saw him like do something in the actual preseason. So I'm a little surprised that he has a 2% bump over Justice Hill there. Tyrone Tracy continues to go up after he was diving. Raheem Mostert, again, casuals getting involved. Pick 90 to pick 87. Nothing too crazy there. Let's see. Khalil Herbert, again, we also covered. I think people are just saying, hey, hopefully he gets traded. Let's take a little bit more of a stab at him. And 2, he's just looked good in preseason. So, like, he's fitting the eye test. Like, people are remembering, like, oh, yeah, this guy's good. Remember when a Bears running back left, went to another team, David Montgomery? I could easily see Khalil Herbert having just the same level of success in the right spot. Jaleel McLaughlin, hard, super hard for Jaleel McLaughlin. I've said enough about him. Javonte Williams also getting a little bit of a bump. They cut Samaje Perine today. It's interesting to see that both of them are going up. Maybe folks are getting a little bit more comfortable with the Broncos offense in totality. Bo Nix is looking a little bit better in camp. You're seeing that you might have a little bit more trust in them. So it's interesting to see that both went up when McLaughlin is about 50 picks after Williams' ADP. And then Najee Harris and Carson Steele. Najee Harris, hey, it's always good to move him up the board. Jalen Warren, a little beat up, going to be ready for week 1, but I'm assuming that was the small rise for Harris. Carson Steele, again, hey, super fast running back. Plays for the Chiefs. Have you ever heard of Damian Williams? Meet Carson Steele. I mean, I'm not saying we should just make that 1, 2, 3 correlation, but we've seen what this team can do with really fast backs. I would be excited to get him on my roster with a Kansas City build. So again, review these numbers, get on BBMDB, be checking that website daily. You're going to see the rises, you're going to see the falls, and use this information to your advantage. Like if you're seeing Tank Bigsby go up 11 rounds, you can't expect him there in round 18. So if you have some connections to the Jags offense, don't be shy about clicking them in round 17 now. And likewise, with our fallers here, we'll see where you can take them at ADP or expect them, to be available for you some picks after ADP. What's going on in my presentation here? There we go. Here are my exposures. So kind of relaying this to the sleeper and the ADP market conversation. So going down the list here, Chuba Hubbard, Eckler, McLaughlin, Pierce, all late round ADP value. And that's exactly why they're at the top of my list, because these guys are all my 4s, my 5s, my 6s on my RB list, right? You have your next grouping of Tony Pollard, Jerome Ford, Najee Harris, Khalil Herbert. Couple of sleepers in there, but Tony Pollard, even Tony Pollard, he's got a very good value, RB28. Najee Harris, pretty reliable, but still RB20, still soaking up all the value. You really don't get to, some really high maintenance guys until Derrick Henry at RB9. So constantly building out these, late round, stacks and exposure opportunities with diversification. It's going to be a huge leverage point to get me to advance more teams. And this is exactly what I recommend doing. Keeping those numbers low. I still think even 22% might be a little bit too high for Chuba Hubbard, but my receivers and my running backs are definitely higher than my exposures at quarterback and tight end. So I still consider, Zamir White, Najee Harris, Tony Pollard. I would throw them in the sleeper conversation. They're more like mid-round guys to me, but realistically, like RB28, a little sleepy, right? Little sleepy for Tony Pollard, a guy who can put up 1,000, rushing yards, not even all purpose. He can put up 1,000 rushing yards on the ground. So very interesting to get somebody like that at RB28. Likewise, Najee Harris, who has, I hope you heard that knock, never missed a game in his career. RB20. Thank you. Gift. Zamir White, he's not getting as much love as of late. but I've got roughly 15%. I'm cool with it. I'm fine with some Zamir White because he's a value. He's in that same, mid-round range. Gus Edwards, like we had mentioned, and then Saquon, Kamara, Jones, and Chandler. You see Jones and Chandler, look at that, butted up right next to each other. Complete split. That's what I'm reading the room with, as far as how the scheme's going to be operated, the shares are going to be operated, and you're seeing that reflected in my exposure list as well. Kamara here at RB18, another very good value. Barkley, again, top tier cost, top tier player. Just want a lot of him because I could easily see him, as an Eagle being around one click. The only thing that says he isn't is ADP. In my mind, he could easily be a pick 12, a pick 13 click for me. You're paying up for it, right? But, if you're actually picking it, let's say at 12, 13, and you want to do something just off the wall and you just want to mess with the room, take Henry and Barkley, 12 and 13. I mean, to me, they're just round one clicks. This is the reason why they're not is because wide receivers rule the best ball world, right? You have to start 3 every week. You have to start 3 every week. You have to have 8. You have to have 9. Like everyone is just gaga over receivers. If you want to do something unique, those guys are not going to come back to you at your 3rd and 4th pick. They just won't. They just will not be there. I saw DK Metcalf get drafted in a home league this weekend at pick 13 because the guy knew that he would not be there for his 3rd and 4th pick. It's okay. Have fun. Do some weird stuff. Get weird with it. Play with it. You know what I mean? That's what fantasy football is all about. I would have no problem with that, but most of us, slaves to ADP. And that's just a simple fact of the matter. Ty Chandler, who we've already covered, he's definitely a sleeper at that value. RB44, that's a massive value. Also love getting both those guys, Aaron Jones, Ty Chandler, correlated with some Packers, right? They're going to be playing in a dome, week 17. I don't know about playing for the division by any means, but it's a divisional matchup. And no matter what, one team's on the bubble, one team's not, you're always going hard. It's the last week of the season, divisional game. That should be fireworks. And plus you're getting just the dome, no weather issues, most likely positive upside for scoring total. I think the last I may have saw was like maybe 48, 47 and a half. Still a good total I'd buy into. And then to close it down here, we got Devin Singletary, Kenneth Walker, who did make the top 20. Bijan Robinson, elite RB3. Jonathan Taylor, also a very good value. And as I mentioned, Marshawn Lloyd. I'm not going to buy any more Marshawn Lloyd. I've got 10%. That's good enough. I know that he is, he's falling technically, as you'll see on this next screen. He's falling 10 spots, despite even becoming a little bit more of a value in the last 7 days. That's going to shift with this recent news in Green Bay. But I also want to stay away because the situation could be similar to the 49ers. They could go add a guy like D'Onta Foreman. They could go add a cut running back from today. And that situation could easily change like that overnight. And I'm already invested 10%. Like, I'm fine. I'm good. Everyone else, enjoy any Marshawn Lloyd discounts. I'm going to hold steady. Probably going to fall out of my top 20 because of that. But as far as sleepers, I mean, there's not really much here other than Devin Singletary at RB33. But again, at that ADP, maybe just the smidge past the mid-round guys, like just after some Tony Pollard, you know what I'm saying? Or 33, Pollard was 28. So just that one tier below, I would say the mid-rounds, where you really need to check yourself if you don't have 3 running backs. I don't mind going 0 RB. I don't mind going anchor, and then, going into the late rounds for my 4 or 5 remaining running backs. But I think at that checkpoint of like Devin Singletary, that's a good threshold RB to look in the mirror and say, what do I have? What do I need at this position? We're all gaga over receiver and best ball. Running back still important. Very important. Nothing else to really cover there. Kenneth Walker, RB15, good value. Kind of where I like to start. He's a threshold to start picking running backs if I haven't. Like RB16 to 20, that's where I'm like, you know what? Let's throw one of these guys in. Let's throw in a Ken Walker. Let's throw in an Alvin Kamara, and we'll see what we can do with the rest. Because I could start there. That running back could be my anchor. I could go with Walker or Kamara and then wait another 8 or 9 rounds because wide receiver is king. Wide receiver is gaga. wide receiver his mother. Whatever other euphemism you can think of. All right. ADP fallers at running back, and then we're going into the other positions here. Appreciate everybody following along tonight. Again, big episode. We're going to be here in a minute, so buckle up if you plan to watch for a while here. Smash the like button, share the video, follow the Fantasy Six Pack Network. We're going to go through some ADP coverage here from running back fallers, then receivers, QBs, and tight ends, and then we're going to jump into a live draft. Again, appreciate everybody here. If you are in the chat, speak up because we will have the draft going. I'll be sure to let you guys know, when we're dialing that in so you guys can get in the draft if you want to steal all my picks. All right. So running back fallers, we've got Lloyd. Again, that's going to shift. If he's still falling, you guys, if you're not overweight, feel free to go ahead and buy. But again, RB5, RB6, we don't know the true situation here. Audric Estime, I've been buying him. I've been doing him some double stacks with Javonte, with McLaughlin. I think he could have some touchdown upside. I do, just because we see how Sean Payton loves to spread the ball around with running backs. We could see a third head on that monster with Audric Estime. Also, just a huge Notre Dame stan. What are you going to do? Dame Pierce continues to fall. Another easy round 18 click for me. He's just been living in round 18. He may have had a small increase in value, but he's still sitting around there. Again, man, another guy, if he was traded, that would be wild. Send him to Dallas. Send him to Dallas. Oh, my God. I would much rather Dame Pierce went to Dallas. That would be fantastic. Keandre Miller. I don't know why he hasn't fallen more. The Saints hate him. Dennis Allen hates him. I think his mother is the only person that loves him. Do not buy Keandre Miller right now until you see some type of vast situation change there. Taysom Hill's the RB2. Taysom Hill's going to be the RB2. Taysom Hill might be the RB2 and the QB1 by the time the season's over. I have no idea. But Keandre Miller, not a name that I'm buying. Jalen Warren had a little injury. Going to be back week 1. Buy the dip. Buy it. Elijah Mitchell, may he rest in peace. Season-ending IR. You're just not buying that ADP. Zamir White, buy the dip. Still going to be an RB1. I know, not an impressive camp. Not a lot of positive coach speak. You're getting more talk that Madison, might have a more reliable role. Folks are talking up Dylan Lieb, whatever, however you pronounce it. The talk hasn't been great for Zamir White. The situation is still good. Buy the dip, Zamir White. Zeke Elliott, I guess buy the dip. Again, if you need exposure to players with some touchdown upside, then he's an okay pick. Then he's all right. But if you don't need that, then you're probably staying away from Zeke Elliott. I don't know what just happened here. Just hit the escape button, I think. I'll buy the dip. Just don't buy it a ton and don't buy it at cost. 8 picks, 12 picks. I see it happen all the time for Zeke. Just don't get cute. Don't take him ahead of ADP. I don't care how aggressive the room gets. I don't care how bad your running back stable appears. Do not draft Zeke at or before ADP. He will fall. It will happen. I promise. Zach Moss, you've just been seeing a consistent Zach Moss fall. You're seeing that positive talk for Chase Brown. The talk was in reverse months ago, and now it's Chase Brown's job. He's in the lead. No one knows. Okay. I don't care what beat reporters says what. I don't care what you saw in practice. These guys will have an interchangeable role, period. I would recommend drafting them no dissimilar to Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler. The difference is I like the cost for Jones and Chandler a little bit more. Let's see. Eric Gray. Yeah, I think just the Tyrone Tracy positivity is what's playing into that ADP climb here. I am still okay getting him. Tom in the chat. What's up, Tom? Tom Lacken. Let's party, bro. I would still buy some Eric Gray because, like I said earlier, I think the situation lends the need for 3 running backs. Devin Singletary is going to get killed out there. Offensive line, still very bad. He's not a guy that can take 25 touches a game and could easily get dinged up pretty quickly if he did. So I'm okay with Eric Gray as a round 18 click. There's nothing more that's needed out of that. If you don't get him with your last pick, you don't draft him. Same right now for Roschon Johnson. He's kind of dead in the water right now. Would love the situation to be different. Would have loved to see Herbert get moved or even Roschon, just, having some more clarity out of that situation. But even as a Bears fan, it's a no-go. It's a no can do from me. These last guys, very little movement in the last week. Deneric Prince, obviously off the board for now. Word is he could still be brought back to the practice squad for the Chiefs, but heck, maybe he's one of those guys that lands with the Packers or the 49ers or something. He's got to clear waivers first, long list to come back to that practice squad. I don't know if he's done enough. I thought he looked no dissimilar to freaking Isaiah Pacheco. He looked angry. He looked physical when he ran. I mean, he wasn't having a constant argument with the ground, literally the grass he was running on. But again, physical, had the build of a Pacheco. Felt like he could be a downhill guy for them. Guess they like Carson Steele. All right, let's move over to another position here. Getting more into the full ADP talk. Really appreciate a good running back conversation. We went deep there. We went deep. Sleepers, ADP movement, my exposures. I hope you were satisfied. I'm leaving that conversation satisfied. I hope you are too. All right, quarterbacks. A lot of movement here from Dan Jones and Justin Fields. Justin Fields was like the next big thing. He was the next big thing for late round QBs just a week or two ago. And now he's fallen 9 spots again. I think I saw him go all the way up to 176. Then Russ came back healthy. It's just been a complete carousel. I think right now, if you're drafting a Pittsburgh QB, it should probably be Russ Wilson with, wait for it, your last pick. Because why pay pick 193 for Justin Fields when I get a third QB for even 8 or 9 games that throws for more touchdowns than he does running? I know that sounds crazy, but could still get you very good touchdown upside, steady floor, and is a good, pick to stack up with a Pickens, with a Najee, with a Roman Wilson if you want to do that Wilson to Wilson round 17, 18 combo stack. I mean, if that's your flavor of juice, then drink it, baby. But if you're chasing Fields, I feel like you're gonna draft him ahead of where he should go, because you're gonna have that tilt, that look on your face in the mirror, like, I'm not good at quarterback. These guys aren't good. Like, I need a safe floor. Like, oh, look, it's Justin Fields. Like, look what he does when he's playing. He has rushing upside. He's great. Well, Justin Fields also throws interceptions. I'm close to the situation. I know a little bit about him. All right. And as much as I wanted him to work out in Chicago, I even said, you're bringing me Keenan Allen. Keep the kid. I don't care. As long as we're good. He's not the guy. He wasn't the guy for us. I don't think he's going to be the guy for the Steelers right now. He looked super, super raw in the preseason, and not a guy that I even would trust to come in and do some weird scheme stuff. I mean, he could barely keep the ball in his hand off the snap this preseason, okay? So pump the brakes on Justin Fields. You want to take your last round shot, you can do it, but I would just recommend going with Russell Wilson. Bryce Young by the dip. He just looks so good in preseason. He is delivering. He's getting out of the pocket. The vision is improved. The accuracy looks better. The offense is great. And he's got David Canales in his ear. He's got Canales on the mic, feeding him information, giving him plays. Look what it did for Baker Mayfield last year. This offense is going to set him up for success. I've bought a lot of Bryce Young all year. Continue to buy the dip. Derek Carr, easy round 18 click. If you're going to chase after Spencer Rattler, God bless you. But I'll easily take Derek Carr, who had the most 300-plus yard passing games in 2023. It doesn't sound sexy, but a great round 18, even round 17 click for someone that you can stack up with your round 2 receiver in Olave, that RB 18 out of Alvin Kamara. You can draft Juwan Johnson in round 17 and pair him up, or do vice versa. Go Derek Carr, Juwan Johnson, who's now back, who's now healthy, ready for week 1, getting off the PUP list and being activated. There's a lot of value getting Carr into your lineup because you can build the Saints so cheaply with stacks. It's just super affordable. You don't need to be cute with Spencer Rattler. I have one Taysom Hill third quarterback team. I don't recommend it for you. I'm doing 150. I'm a psycho, okay? Blood's itching just to do a draft here, just to get through this conversation so that we can do a live draft on air, all right? Love the situation for him just because, again, of the value. So I'm not scared of Rattler. Yeah, having a great preseason. I've saw Patrick Mahomes come in and make throws literally for Alex Smith. A lot to be excited about, but not today, not tomorrow, and I don't believe this season, unless there's an injury. But I don't like drafting quarterbacks to protect from injury. I drafted Joe Flacco in the big board. I don't draft Joe Flacco anymore. If you're drafting Anthony Richardson, you're drafting like he's going to be there. every game. No, draft him a lot. Don't draft him. I don't care. Deshaun Watson, I'm sorry. I'm just not impressed by Deshaun Watson. I let him fall. I just don't stack up the Browns. I'm sorry. Maybe it's nothing to do with him just being, an awful human. You want to go be some crazy psycho in your own time? That's your own time. Who should anyone be to judge you, Deshaun Watson, except for when you can't make easy 5 to 10 yard completions? That's when I feel it is perfectly fine to judge you and to pass you up on your ADP and to target someone more unique. I'll take a Bo Nix over a Deshaun Watson. I'll say Drake May, Gardner Minshew last round, even if he went, maybe even Aiden O'Connell. Maybe I'd prefer him just to wait until, Minshew got hurt or, had to give up the reins because they weren't good enough, whatever. I just don't like Deshaun Watson. He's a sprinkler. I've sprinkled him in, not a lot of them. Didn't love the talent last year. Give me Jerome Ford. Give me even Amari Cooper. I just don't love Deshaun Watson. I trust the players around him. I don't trust him. Jameis Winston, get him in the lineup. Let's go. Anthony Richardson, Russ Wilson, Will Levis, all falling a little bit. I really can't explain those falls. I really can't. Russ Wilson has just kind of been sitting in that same ADP since that adjustment on Justin Fields. I mean, Russ has never gone with any extreme cost or significant cost. Same thing with Will Levis. Dak Prescott, 1 pick. I mean, Dak Prescott falls like 15 picks in every other draft. I think his ADP now is 96. Does it say there? It's 98. It's 98, right? He'll go to like pick 113, pick 115. You all hate the Cowboys, and I love it because I'll just keep buying Dak. I'll just keep buying all the anti-narrative players I can. Dak Prescott, Chuba Hubbard, Adam Thielen. Ooh, they're on the same team. Ouch. Trying to think of a tight end. I don't know. Mike Gesicki. I think people have kind of written off Mike Gesicki. I believe he's only like 30. We'll get to the tight end conversation. He's not drafted a ton. He's a huge leverage point because he's not drafted enough. Geno Smith, again, I just think that's your flavor of water. You might be a Dasani person. Geno might be sparkling. He's just not for you. I don't know. I can't really explain that fall. It's only one spot as well. It's nothing really significant. Climbers, Bo Nix, just talked about him over Deshaun Watson. Sam Darnold, of course, yeah, healthy QB, Minnesota Vikings, gets to play with Justin Jefferson. Of course, his cost was going to rise. Haven't really done that a lot. I think buying Justin Jefferson naked is certainly fine. I just don't think you're buying anything special with Sam Darnold. This is the guy that once said on a hot mic that he's seeing ghosts in a game. Do I think that he was really seeing ghosts? Maybe. He was playing the Patriots and it was not going well. There's a lot of fog. Maybe it's just fog. Saw grandma's face in the fog. Threw a football through it and it was his 5th interception of the game or something. I don't know. I've never trusted Sam Darnold. Perfectly honest, I like Nick Mullins more. I just like him more. I've always liked Nick Mullins. Maybe it's the Hoover, Alabama in him. Maybe it's the 2 days he was doing down in Hoover, Alabama. I don't know. I have no idea. Sam Darnold, he's never impressed me. Does have some rushing upside. Pick 183. I'd almost rather have Bo Nix. If you're getting a Minnesota stack, by all means, if you got, maybe you got Jordan Love and another good QB and you want to go 3 QBs deep, sure, knock your socks off. It's just not for me, not my cup of tea, and certainly not interested in buying at ADP or at an accelerated cost. If I see him fall 15, 20 picks past ADP, I got Justin Jefferson or those 2 running backs in Jones or Chandler. Sure. You know how many shares of Jordan Addison I have? 0. We got 0 Jordan Addison. Goose egg. So that doesn't lend for me to draft that guy very often, right? The reason why I draft so much Will Levis, I have so much Calvin Ridley. Just vice versa. I don't need Sam Darnold. I just don't feel like I need him to win $1.5 million. Sorry. I don't see it. Drake May, Gardner Minshew, Jaden Daniels. I mean, it sounds like Drake May is going to be the starter pretty soon, right? I mean, Brissett's potentially hurt. They're saying he could be ready for week 1. Quarterback's going to have to throw the ball a lot in this offense. So if you're not 100%, if he takes one good hit in game 1, even if Brissett is healthy, I think now is the time to feel safe buying Drake May. Not expensive. Still pick 200. You're looking at the last 2 rounds. Perfectly okay with that. And it's not like it's Bo Nix who's up 15 picks because he's having an amazing preseason. You know, it's because there is some uncertainty for May because of Brissett potentially starting, but Brissett could go 2 games and be gone. I mean, he could go 1 game. He could go halftime of game 1 and be gone. He could Andy Dalton a situation. You know what I mean? Like, he could just get pulled in game 1. So I think Drake May at that cost is perfectly fine. And you saw 7 days ago, Bo Nix was going at that same cost. So if we got notification tomorrow or the day after that, oh, hey, May is starting week 1, you may miss the window to buy him at a discount because more than likely he would climb to where Bo Nix is in ADP. Minshew, buy the Minshew. Always buying the Minshew. Always buying the mustache. Always buying Gardner. He was my guy from the get, but I still had to split him and my Aiden O'Connell shares. I was going kind of toe to toe. I think I have like 2 or 3% of both. It's just sometimes I can't turn off my ears. I listen to people and I hate it sometimes, you know. I drafted Michael Carter because I heard someone that I respected say something good. I was like, why didn't I trust myself? Just wasted a click. Not really. I mean, it's 2% Michael Carter's not going to kill anybody. But still, you know, sometimes I just have to close my ears. Gardner Minshew, he was always my guy from day one. Certainly the guy that I was drafting in the big board. I wasn't drafting Aiden O'Connell then. I trust him a lot. He was able to feed and make Michael Pittman last year a huge weapon, 4th most receptions in the league. You're looking at a guy like Devontae Adams that gets 150, 160 plus targets a year. He will feed him. Those 2 will have success. And by pseudo success, he will remain on the field. Because as we saw with the receiver special on Netflix, you're going to need to remain in Devontae Adams' good favor to stay on the field. He's like the Peyton Manning of receivers right now in the league. If he doesn't like you, you're sitting down. I approve that Jimmy benching. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much my idea to begin with because, you know, couldn't hit my hands if they were the side of a barnyard. Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, you can continue to buy the upticks there. There's not really not that much. Patrick Mahomes, again, when you're not buying Patrick Mahomes, I mean, these are all very small, you know, increases in cost for mid-tier guys. You're just seeing, I think, more stacking connections there, people getting to those 2 specifically a little bit more early. Herbert and Cousins, again, they're in the same territory. They're almost trading spots. Nothing really to write home with there. Receivers, let's take a peek. McCaffrey going up. I don't know if I'm buying McCaffrey a ton just because they traded Jan Dotson. I would much rather have De'Ami Brown. Could get both guys, I suppose, in the second to last round or the last round. So I'm passing on Luke McCaffrey. Very few shares. Another sprinkler type of player. A few shares here and there. No thanks. Tim Patrick, De'Ami Brown, Jordan Whittington. We do have De'Ami Brown jumping into that mix there. Would certainly prefer his ADP at wide receiver 93 over Luke McCaffrey at wide receiver 87. Jordan Whittington, I got one. I said, all right, hey, we're all in, right? It's all wheels up. Let's get us 1 click of Jordan Whittington. I mean, I have a lot of shares of Puka and Cooper Kupp, so I'm sure I'll take a bullet on Jordan Whittington. I still probably like DeMarcus Robinson more, but his role feels pretty fragile, right? Like, it feels pretty replaceable. And from what we saw from Whittington in the preseason, it seems like he could supplement Robinson potential production. Give me Jalen Tolbert, cost increase. Would have thought this team would have added another receiver by now. Still haven't. Jalen Tolbert in line for wide receiver 3 work. Rashee Rice, always a continued cost. With him, you know, obviously not going to be suspended now. He was going, I think, at wide receiver 60 or 70 at one point. So not as much of an intense value anymore, but still a very good player to get as your wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, etc. Cortland Sutton, buy. I don't care how expensive he gets. Continue to buy Cortland Sutton. He's a wide receiver 3, going to have a wide receiver 1. What did I say? Wide receiver 3. He's a wide receiver 1, and he will have a wide receiver 1 target share, potentially, dare I say, even 30%. What else is there? I love Marvin Mims. I love the running backs. There's just not a lot there. He's potentially the best player in the offense, period, and always a huge touchdown threat, just like DeAndre Hopkins. Continue to buy him an accelerated cost. We were getting a little bit of a dip. He was getting hurt. Now he's going to be back. He's going to be ready for week 1. All good things, all good signs for him. If you do get a dip, definitely buy some DeAndre Hopkins. Greg Dortch, LQ, if you're watching, you're just doing this all on your own. He was at like pick 215. Now he's up to 178, wide receiver 77. Oh my God. He was going at like wide receiver 90 plus territory. Laquan Jones, if you're watching, you did your part. You did it. You made Dortchland happen. You made Dortchland great again. He's at pick 178 now, up another 3 spots. By the end of this show, he'll probably be up another 3. In another week, LQ will have him up another 10. So, Dortch to the moon, at least is what the community is all in on here. Xavier Worthy, I'm continuing to buy. 3 spots isn't enough for me to get off of him. Jalen Naylor, no thanks. Just not interested. I'm not buying Jordan Addison. I don't know why that would direct me to then buy Naylor. I just don't believe any QB that's there is going to be able to support more than what Justin Jefferson can offer for a safe floor. Maybe Naylor has a big week. It's not enough for me to buy in, even at that 210 ADP. Slayton, I would much rather have him. He's always been a buy, up 2 spots in the last round. What is that? He's still a last round click. Go get yourself some Darius Slayton. And then Terry McLaurin and Darnell Mooney are always easy clicks at ADP. I don't think they're still guys that you need to pay up for. I think that you can easily get a fall for McLaurin or Mooney alike. All right, looking at wide receiver fallers, and then we're going to jump into tight ends. Again, appreciate everybody riding along here. Smash that like button, share the video. DJ Chark, just falling. I guess I got to look into this. Did he get hurt? I'm always a DJ Chark guy. I've always been a DJ Chark fan, but that seems really like a lot. Seems like a lot. And maybe I missed something. Like, is DJ Chark hurt? Let's find out. We're going to find out live. You can review my reaction, because I'm thinking it might be hurt. I mean, that's a lot. Doesn't look like he's hurt. No. Oh, misses Thursday's practice. Okay. Sideline during a practice. Veteran windout, banged up. Monday's practice. Sideline continues to nurse what could be a hip injury. Okay. So don't go in there, right? I mean, you've always just kind of been sprinkling in the Chargers receivers. I have a ton of Palmer, and then everybody else is just, again, they're sprinkles. I'll still buy Quentin Johnson at a huge discount. I've always been okay with taking DJ Chark in the last round. Love the player. Never really loved his situation. Also, he loves to get hurt. But again, it's kind of like, you love Mike Williams. I love DJ Chark. It's round 18 click. Mike Williams is not a round 18 click. I suppose you can stay off of him for now. I wasn't aware that he got a little beaten and bothered. But as I said earlier, there's no reason at this point in time when you've got all this market movement to go after a guy that's beaten and bothered coming into the season. I might make that exception for Curtis Samuel, who does sound like he'll be ready for week 1. Ricky Pearsall has been hurt on and off all off season. I'm really not interested anymore. Marvin Mims, that is a huge dip to buy, in my opinion. We just saw Tim Patrick get cut. That lends to obvious more safe floors for Marvin Mims. Saw him cut a touchdown in the preseason. I've been on him, since the early part of the best ball summer. So I'm glad. I'm super happy that he's falling. But you could see that turnaround after today, after Patrick leaves. I'd buy him up 7 picks. I'd buy him up 10 picks. So I think Marvin Mims will always be a safe pick for you at his ADP. Don't be afraid to take him up maybe 5 to 7 picks. Jahan Dotson, buy the dip. So what? He went from the Commanders while he's a wide receiver 2. I know the ADP wasn't great. They weren't loving him. He's on an offense that's going to score more points. I just think it's a good situation to be part of as your 7th receiver, 6 if you go like double anchor or hypofragile RB. I think it's a good situation to be a part of. A great situation to stack. You can get him. I got him today with AJ Brown. First and last receiver drafted. Felt good about that. You can get him with Barkley. Get him with Brown. I'm sorry, Hurts. Goddard. I mean, it's his ADP puts him in a good spot to, get yourself a nice late round Eagle stack, because before it was like after those guys, like, who are you going after? Johnny Wilson? Paris Campbell? Paris Campbell got cut. Not happening. Paris Campbell season not happening this year for the Eagles. I think Jahan Dotson's a good click right there. Troy Franklin, I mean, he's just been falling all summer. I definitely not a Broncos receiver that I'm targeting. Give me Marvin Mims more so. Oh, let's see who else. Demarcus Robinson falling with Whittington's rise. That makes sense, that ADP swap there. Demarcus Robinson's always kind of just been the guy on the docket, though, so I think I'd be okay just taking him still. I'd maybe just buy that dip there. Baker, Corley, Robinson, Boyd. Very meh. Of that group, I would buy the dip most in Wan'Dale Robinson. There's explosivity there. There's a path to production. I mean, really, it's anybody's game behind Malik Neighbors. Slayton has a good connection with DJ. Wan'Dale, he's been there for a few years now. I don't know about if he knows the system because Dable's probably going to change things up a lot. But I like the Robinson click. I've taken plenty of Boyd. I'm kind of done doing that. Same with Malachi Corley. I think with the news that we've gotten out of Jets camp, it might be time to, as we close down this contest, maybe we mix in some Allen Lazard. Maybe we mix in some Xavier Gibson because the talk hasn't been amazing for Malachi Corley. I would say a subpar preseason. I think we would have liked to seen a little bit more, but also tough when we haven't seen him in action with Aaron Rodgers. Like the player, situation right now seems a little difficult to gauge though. Brandon Cooks, buy the dip. I got him 20 picks after ADP today, and he's my most exposed player. Yes, and thank you, everyone. Appreciate you so much. Yeah, Brandon Cooks after ADP, give me 2, give me 3, give me 5 times over. Jermaine Burton, Josh Downs, Ladd McConkey. I think the Ladd McConkey situation is people are just realizing, like myself, Josh Palmer, he's going to be more of a threat. He's going to be more included. This isn't some third-round rookie receiver coming in and then just being like, top 10, top 15 receiver in the league. And I think people had that expectation out of him, honestly. Josh Downs, hurt, going to miss the start of the season. And Jermaine Burton, you got to take your shot with him or Los Civas. I mean, that's pretty much it. We're going to quickly run through the tight end here. Again, appreciate everybody for following along. We've got Ben Sinnott climbing quite a bit. Little secret, though, I still get him well after ADP. So I don't know what to tell you about that. He's up 5 spots roughly in the past week, but today I got him twice. I got him at pick 191 and 200. I don't know what to tell you about that. I would not pay up for him. Him and Ertz, their ADP is kind of finally bumped heads a little bit more. They're a lot closer together. I just like to buy him at a fall still. So good player. The market's reacting well, I guess I should say, but 98% drafted. So not that unique. He's going to be on everybody's roster. Juwan Johnson, 87%, a little more helpful on that draft percentage. But obviously coming in also hurt. I think, at least for myself, I'm settling on my early Johnson ADP because I had a lot. I had a lot of Juwan Johnson early, so I was just okay. I was like, all right, he's hurt. Hopefully the reports are right. He's back by week 1. He is. Slam dunk. Let's go. Let's ride. But I don't need any more. By all means, if you want to get creative, like I was kind of mentioning with like late round Saints builds with Derek Carr or some of these other guys, by all means, go ahead. I think he's still a good pick. Parkinson, Likely, Hawkinson, Dulcich. Dulcich is probably the guy that I want the most here. Davis, Allen, and Parkinson, I don't know how to wrap my head around that situation. Maybe it's Whittington. Maybe Whittington gets tight end targets. I don't know. Maybe that offense kind of turns into like the Dolphins where they just don't know that the tight end is even there. I don't know. It's really tough for me to be super high on Parkinson other than he'll play a lot of snaps, which I don't even know if I can buy into because of Allen there. I know Allen's I think he's a rookie tight end, but regardless, or maybe a second year, just not a situation I love for tight end. Just not a situation I love for tight end. I like other options, including Greg Dulcich here. I've kind of talked about Sutton, Mims, that Broncos offense, very affordable. You can get all those guys in the later rounds, both running backs, the starting receivers, the QB, Dulcich, like great late round stacking opportunity, the Broncos. Evan Ingram, now my most exposed tight end. He has taken the lead over Jatavian Sanders, who, God bless, I hope he has a role this season. I drafted so much Jatavian Sanders, and the streets, the beats are completely quiet on Jatavian Sanders. It is just a deafening silence. I need something to happen. I saw that Ian Thomas was hurt. I was like, oh, wow, wheels up. We're looking so good. And then I saw Ian Thomas score a touchdown in a preseason game. What happened? Guy's got a freaking TO tank at home. The Terrell Owens injury tank. What do they call those things? I can't remember. It's like deprivation tank. Didn't look like that. Didn't look like what Joe Rogan sits in. Some anti-gravity tanning bed. I don't know what they're doing over there. But you got the money to do it. You do it, right? So yeah, Evan Ingram at the top of my list, 1.5 spots. Yeah, clean. I'll take Evan Ingram a whole round ahead of ADP. Tight end 2 last year. Newsflash, going as tight end 8. 8. Huge value. Huge value. Continue to draft a ton of Evan Ingram, like myself. Zach Ertz, just a smidge. Just a smidge. Just a half of a pick. Just half of a pick for Zach Ertz. I've drafted Zach Ertz, oddly enough. I drafted some Zach Ertz. Today I did it with Ben Sinnott. I just said, you know what? I'll take both of them as my second and third tight ends. I don't care. I'm doing stuff that's weird. I'm doing stuff that's random. I'm cornering that tight end room. I mean, that's all it is. It's like, you know, if Zach Ertz is there and he's taking snaps, cool. I'll get some of those snaps. I'll get some of those opportunities. Ben Sinnott looks a lot better, looks a lot healthier, faster, athletic, agile. I mean, Zach Ertz has got sure hands. Let's not kid ourselves. But Ben Sinnott looks like the better prospect still. Kind of a late end of the season, close down type of value that you want. Not sure he's going to be anything amazing the first handful of weeks, but down the stretch of the season, is Zach Ertz going to be there? Come on, guys. Come on. Could be wheels up for Sinnott down the stretch of the year. I'm buying more of him to close the contest. Definitely someone that I want more of. Zach Ertz, I just kind of did that, being cute, just getting him and Sinnott on the same team. I would definitely be looking to buy more Sinnott. A lot of buy candidates here for the downs, for the tight ends. I'm pretty much buying all these dips. Cole Kmet, yes, please. Thank you. Twice on Sundays. Kate Otten, yes, please. Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, Luke Musgrave, Pat Freiermuth, yes, 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 please. I mean, these are all guys that are going to play significant tight end snaps, and they're somehow slowly but surely becoming a better value. Yes, give me more of. Personally, I think this is correlated to more of the advancement on tight ends. I think that folks are being more aggressive with tight ends, period. And it's pushing these guys down the board because everybody else is after that's like, hey, I got my tight end. I'll wait for whatever, slop falls to me. Maybe it's a Chig, maybe it's a Noah Fant or a Mike Gesicki, and they'll wait past those guys because, they paid up round 4 for, Mark Andrews, or round 3 for Sam Laporta, or round 4 for Trey McBride, whatever it is. They paid a high cost and they're just like, hey, I'm just really going to do great in late tight end, which is a very good strategy in best ball. So I think that's really more the reason for their fall. None of these are really significant other than Cole Kmet. And again, gimme. Cole Kmet, tight end 16. I believe he was tight end 12 or 11 last year. Had a very good season. A guy that can easily give you top 10 upside at the position. 6 spots, that's half a round. Yeah, give me some Cole Kmet, tight end 16. All right, and that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Now the fun can begin. We can get to a live Best Ball Mania Draft. We're only at hour 1 and 18 minutes. That's it. And now we're going deeper. The rabbit hole doesn't end here. Now we've got live practicum coming up on the board. Let's ride. Let's go. Smash that like button. Follow the channel now. Let's get the follows going here now. Let's get the shares going. Let's get the likes going here now. All right. We'll do it on my phone. Then we'll bring it up. Chat somehow. If you're still here, if you're still liking what you're hearing, let's draft. Let's do it. Let's do the damn thing, huh? Tom, hope you're still here. Tom Lacken, let's ride. Let's jump in this Best Ball Mania 5 draft. This is 137 for your boy. We're going to be counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Enter. And we have 9 more to start. So if you are here, let's ride. Let's go. Let's fill this room. Now we'll get the board up here as soon as the draft starts. Appreciate everybody that's been supporting along the way as well. It's been a lot of fun here over at the Fantasy Six Pack Network. We've gone from mornings to evenings, draft shows to strategy shows. It's been a lot of fun. We've done a lot of good stuff over here. All right, waiting for one more person. About to get it up on the board here. Go to draft. You guys don't need to see any of that stuff. Okay. Pick 3. It's so weird. I have been living in pick 5 through 8 for most of the summer, and now I can't get outside the top 5. And I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong. The best ball gods, they are helping me out here a little bit, but it's just so weird to see that crazy shift. Hey, we got Tom saying I'm still listening. Let's ride, Tom. About to get the ride of your life here, Tom. We got some badges up in here. We've got DABK. What is that? Arch Goat 2 Mega. Arc Goat 2 Omega. Interesting name. JM Bruni, Chaboy. Juice Fest. Dank 9. Dank sounds familiar. Crazy Brown rocking the red. Eno. IHRKE027, if my dyslexia does not deceive me. I don't know any of these people. Dank sounds familiar. But I think the Dank that I'm thinking of didn't have a 9 at the end of it. And it kind of lends you to think, did he put that 9 because he couldn't be the OG Dank? Hey, DABK, make your pick, bro. 4 seconds. You're going to run out the clock? You're going to run out the clock here? You're going to auto pick one? All right, there goes CMC. Pick one. All right. Yeah, let's go more Tyreek Hill now. More wheels up for Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, fun fact, RB. Wide receiver 2, wide receiver 6, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 this last handful of years. I don't know why this guy doesn't go number 1. I've taken him number 1 once in Best Ball Mania 5. I just don't understand why he would still not go ahead of CeeDee Lamb. I get it. The situation lends definitely in favor of CeeDee Lamb. You know, you see CeeDee Lamb standing on that star in the middle of the field, and he's looking around going, who's going to help? Is it Brandon Cooks? Oh, Breece Hall at 4. That's fun. Juice Fest. That's fun. Is it Brandon Cooks? Is it Jake Ferguson? I mean, is it one of these, running backs, the never was, the has been, like who's going to help out? So I get that. And the Dolphins have a deep plethora of weapons, Jalen Waddle, they added Jonnu Smith. I know OBJ starting out from the pup list, but that's obviously, super solid. Malik Washington, you got a whole bevy of running backs in, Mostert, Achane, Jalen Wright. I mean, I get it. It's deep, but I mean, Tyreek Hill's a guy that's put up like 50 fantasy points by halftime. Like, come on now. I'm trying to think, like, has Lamb even had that game? Like the 3 touchdowns by halftime game? I know he's had multi-touchdown games, but I don't know. I still think Tyreek Hill is the more booming opportunity there. All right. Nothing too fancy in round 1 here. We did see Breece Hall go at pick 4. That's a little aggressive juice fest, but that's okay. Probably lends me to do double wide receiver for round 2, round 3. But we'll see if we get any falls, I've seen Barkley go to 22. That's not bad. Even Jonathan Taylor. Again, end of the first round. Pretty chalky. Drake London. Tony Sales. Drake London. Guy doesn't want to make his pick. Taking his time with pick 13. Maybe he caught the show. Maybe he's about to take Derrick Henry. Nico Collins at 13. I disagree. I don't like that. I don't like that. You want to talk about an offense with weapons? Taking one of those receivers at pick 13, that's a no-no. That's a no-no from me. Deebo Samuel, I would probably take it at 13 over him. Gibbs definitely goes at 13, although he was banged up a little bit. He fell. I've gotten Gibbs as late as 19, albeit I only have like 2 or 3 shares of Gibbs because I don't believe that he is worthy to go ahead of Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, wait for it, Derrick Henry, even Travis Etienne. Like, I just don't see him, I don't see him needing to go with that ADP. A lot of excitement built into that value. It's not enough for me to buy at that cost, at least with volume. I'd like to shore things out. I like to balance out my exposure to players. I don't know if I'm going to have more than 5. It's just not someone I believe in at that cost. Yeah, we're definitely looking at receiver here. I took Tyreek Hill earlier today with Cooper Kupp, so I'm not going to do that. And we'll take more Devontae Adams, who is dealing with a minor injury. But again, you're chasing that potential crazy volume of 150, 160 plus targets. I'm not too worried about him, but do love him and Jacoby Myers alike. I think that offense is a good situation for a wide receiver. Always going to have positive game script. They're going to have to throw the ball a lot. Defense isn't amazing. It's a good situation. And they play in a dome. They play in a dome at home. So that's always good. Can also get some solid week 17 correlation with the Raiders and the Raiders and the Saints, excuse me. They're playing week 17. Both have a dome. I can't remember where they're playing it, though. I feel like it's at the Saints. Yeah, it's at the Saints. They host the Raiders at home. So we're looking at Malik Neighbors, Kyron Williams, Brandon Ayuk, DK Metcalf, Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry inside the top 10. I just have to have more. I just have to have more Derrick Henry. I want I wonder if I can go back to my – now I closed it out. I'm pretty sure I have 15% now. That seems appropriate for a guy that could potentially get you 15 rushing touchdowns this year. Yeah, he was at 14%, so definitely likely I get him to 15 by the end of it. I don't know if it's this draft exactly that gets him to 15, but I'm okay with this Juice Fest guy going receiver just because it kind of balances out what I have. Yeah, he went DK Olave. I went Tyreek Adams and Henry. I would much rather have that combination than paying up for Breece Hall in that combo. So feeling good. So far, just one team with 3 wide receivers wide. The 2 spot going Lamb, Evans, Devonta Smith. I think I would have preferred Metcalf with Lamb and Evans just because you get such a stronghold on red zone targets. I think that would be an amazing build to start with. Even Brandon Ayuk there, I know that he's getting some depreciated cost because of the whole contract situation. I'm buying Brandon Ayuk. He's playing this season, guys. He was a round 2 pick 17 or 18 pick not that long ago. Like, that is a great value for Brandon Ayuk. Buy that dip, buy that value. Josh Allen, pick 32. I don't love it. I really, really like getting Josh Allen in the 40s, which is super doable. He falls all the time. You're going to have rooms that just don't pay up for the quarterback position. So I'm definitely all good with that for sure. I didn't know that the board was smaller for you guys. That's my bad. I didn't know that BBMDB was open. That was probably slowing down my internet a little bit. That thing is an internet hog. Just eats up gigabytes. Is that what they're called? The things that internet run on? I have no idea. No clue. All right. After Henry, we had Metcalf, Kyron, Malik Neighbors, Brandon Ayuk, like I said, Josh Allen, Tank Dell. Well, at least Tank Dell didn't go ahead of Josh Allen. It's an atrocious pick to make, in my opinion. Don't have a lot of Tank Dell. Pick 33, far too expensive for me there. We had Nico Collins go. Did Diggs even go yet? My God. Did Diggs not go? What is going on here? Did something happen to Stephon Diggs? What? My goodness. Zay Flowers. I'm feeling like I'm missing something here. No. Am I just not looking at the whole board maybe? Yeah, I bet he's down here. I think that's what it is. No. There he goes. Stephon Diggs after Tank Dell. Big mistake. What? Tank Dell is not going to play in 2 receiver sets. It's going to be a third wide receiver. Taking any team's third wide receiver. I don't care if Peyton Manning is throwing the ball and the third wide receiver is Marvin Harrison, okay? And the other 2 are some other Hall of Fame receivers. I don't care. I'm not taking a third wide receiver over the potential QB1. Even the tight end one in this territory, the Laportas, that Kelsey, that Kincaid's. I've been saying it all best ball summer, but that's a foul. Do I have it? I have it. Flag on the play. Okay. Taking Tank Dell over Stephon Diggs. All right. I'm not picking up that flag. I can't. I would, I'd be a whole mess on screen. But regardless, that's not good. That's not good. Even Rashi Rice, I can argue over Stephon Diggs, but it just hasn't been a consistent thing. It's not been a consistent thing whatsoever. Michael Pittman to the pick 41. That is oh my gosh, this draft. It's okay. It's okay. I know what to do. We're looking at Amari Cooper, Trey McBride, George Pickens, Lamar Jackson, Josh Jacobs, Terry McLaurin. With our build, I don't mind Trey McBride here, but we could also go Mark Andrews just to get the stack. I don't know if someone wants to take Lamar naked. You know what? We're just gonna stick with receiver. We're gonna. I did a Lamar, Henry, and Andrew stack this morning, so I'm just not going to overly buy into it. I think Adams, Hill, and Cooper are a nice pair, or threesome, I should say. And you know what? I'm probably just going to go receiver again here. I'll go double, or not double, just anchor RB, excuse me, with Derrick Henry, and we'll write out the rest because I like Pickens here. I like Kirk if they fall to me. There goes Mark Andrews. We'll definitely see either DABK block him with a Lamar pick, or we'll see that stack come to completion at pick 50. And again, that too, like I don't want to get one of those guys and then be spoiled. If I'm in that pick 47 range, I think that's more likely. And again, this guy's going to get it now. He's going to get Lamar with Smith, Evans, and Lamb. I think that's great, but I would still like it so much more with DK Metcalf there. Again, it's a situation where you have a wide receiver 1 over a wide receiver 2 and a deeper offense. Don't worry, 15 seconds. I know I'm monologuing like a bad movie villain here. But like we said, we like Pickens. We like Kirk. Even worthy at this ADP. But we are going to go George Pickens. We are going to go George Pickens because, like I just mentioned, DK over Devonta Smith, Pickens in an offense where's the competition? Who's going to challenge me for targets in this offense? Who is it? I mean, Pickens could easily have 130, 140 plus targets this year. He could have a career season because who's going to challenge him? Who's going to do it? Even if they picked up someone who was cut, someone who was waived, are they just going to instantly come in and just threaten George Pickens for targets? I easily see him getting anywhere from 8 to 10 targets a game. Great value in round 5. So again, we've got Hill, Adams, Henry, Cooper, Amari Cooper, not Cup, and Georgie Pickens. Dalton Kincaid, Christian Kirk goes right after, so feeling good about that. Me and the 4 spot were very much in sync. He went hero RB with Brees. I'm going with Henry. He's got a good foursome. He's got a good foursome there. I think that DK fall is really nice. I think Olave and Ayuk would have looked good. I don't know about neighbors there. So I'm liking that build. I like Kirk a lot. I like McLaurin. So yeah, me and Juice Fest, we're in sync. We're in sync. Feels early for Joe Burrow. Let me check that out. Feels like a mistake. Let's take a peek here. It's easier for me to track on my phone. Dank took him. Dang old Dank. Whoa, mercy, Dank. Dank 9. He took him. What is this? He went pick 54. Joe Burrow. His ADP is 89, bro. Come on now. Come on, Dank. Do better, Dank. 89. You could have taken him at pick 78, and no one would have blinked. They would have said, "Oh yeah, he's got Jamar Chase. Go ahead." How do you have a badge, man? Who gave that thing to you? I had to sweat. I got blood, sweat, and tears invested into my badge. No, literally. 25% advance rate on 150 teams, no finals. That'll put tears in a man's eyes. All right. It was only a week. All right, fine. It was a month. Cried myself to sleep. All right. After the crazy Joe Burrow pick, crazy Joe Dank over here. Xavier Worthy, Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen. Seeing those two going back to back. By the way, guys, Keenan Allen, not fat, not slow, not disinterested. Buy the Keenan Allen dip. Calvin Ridley, pick 59, seems like someone made a mistake. Calvin Ridley. Let's see who did that. That was Dr. Does Little. And hey, call it like I see it. Does Little. Let's see. Calvin Ridley. No, it was only 3 picks after ADP. Super interesting. I thought I saw him much further up the board. So good value there then. That guy's really laying into receivers. Puka, Debo, Rashi, Calvin Ridley, and Deontay Johnson with Travis Etienne as his hero RB. Very interesting. Very interesting. I'd probably pivot off of Deontay. It's a good pick. I love Deontay, but I'd probably pivot off of that. I'm at 0-141, and we are 1 pick up. I'm thinking I have a good amount of Kyle Pitts. I would like to get David Montgomery here just because I don't have a lot of David Montgomery. Not expensive, but just haven't clicked a lot of him or Gibbs. Been consistently buying receiver in this range for the most part. Pitts does give us a good bit of leverage, and we saw Evan Ingram go already. I think I may have talked myself into Kyle Pitts. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. I don't think I get Montgomery, but I think we're okay. I think we're all right. If Evan Ingram hadn't gone yet, I think I make the Montgomery pick. But Evan Ingram going a lot higher than ADP just lends me to think that I might miss him. Or just in general, I'm not going to get like a reliable tight end. I would have liked to have gotten Pitts or Ferguson. I don't think Fergie makes it back to 94. I don't think that happens. Let's see. Thomas, JSN, Watson. I mean, we have a shot. This guy's going to auto pick Montgomery. This is terrible. Oh, wow. All right. Thank the auto pick lords. We got him. So we got both guys. Great situation. You always love to see that happen. We got Monty, 6 picks after ADP. Bless the ADP gods. There's only one God I know, ma'am. He doesn't dress like that. He does dress like a imaginary superhero dog. He does do that, though. Underdog. It's not fantasy. It's a way of life. Put it on the bumper sticker. Aaron Jones, CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud, that's a great fall for CJ. I got to look at that. I also should look at the Evan Ingram pick too. But Stroud, wow. Only 7 spots. Wow, he's just falling in general. This guy got Patrick Mahomes and Stroud. There was a time this summer that Stroud was going ahead of Mahomes. It was insane. Like the value on him just got to be completely out of control, and the hype was just, it couldn't be contained. CJ Stroud. That's a good build. I like that, getting those two QBs. Let's see what else he has. Good. Oh, this is I don't know about the team. The team is Mahomes, Stroud, Jonathan Taylor, Kyron Williams, Joe Mixon. He's got 1 wide receiver. It's Justin Jefferson. And he's got Dalton Kincaid. Not how it's done. It's not how you do it. The CJ Stroud pick now, unfortunately, not that sexy. Not that good looking. Very interesting. Interestingly bad. Not good. Let me check the Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram, 10 picks ahead of ADP. It's not like it's not worth it. I mean, we're talking about a top 3 tight end from last year, but that's why I buy a lot of them. It's a great value. What do you call a black priest? Not the channel for that. Just gonna say, holy shit. Philly Mike OG. You can let us know what you're holy shitting about, but the black jokes, they're kind of outdated. We've kind of elevated comedy from that. You just don't like casually walk up to people and be like, yeah, the Asian black guy and Indian guy walking over. Like, it's just not a thing anymore. You know what I mean? Believe me, growing up. Yeah. Something you'd hear around the card table, if you will. That's just not my thing anymore. Just a little outdated. Connor Williams, Coleman, Kyler, Hollywood Brown, pick 82. Great value there, even with the injury. Ferguson does not make it back to me. Ramondre DeAndre, pick 84, 85, 86. You can't write it any better than that, folks. Stevenson, Hopkins, Swift going at that turn. Najee, here comes the run of running backs. Here they come, running like the Bulls. Raheem Mostert, I bet we see, let's go another 2. Cortland Sutton with the plug. Cortland Sutton said, no more. All right, we're looking at Derrick Henry, David Montgomery, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, Amari Cooper, George Pickens, Kyle Pitts. We need to pick this up here, guys. I've got Hard Knocks to watch before bed, okay? Like, it's almost midnight. Holy cow. This is Best Ball After Dark. Let's go. We're almost hitting midnight here, folks. Let's ride. Let's go. Smash that like button. We're here for it. We're here for you, the people. 0, 2, 4, 1. We've got Zamir White, Jordan Love, Curtis Samuel, Jonathan Brooks, Dak Prescott. We don't have a quarterback yet. I think we're looking at Tua there. I don't think we need to pull a QB trigger right now. I'm thinking receiver. Looks like Curtis Samuel, a little bit positive, more positive news. I don't have a lot of Romeo Dubes, but I have a lot of week 10 buys. I don't like that. We're just going to get a running back here. We're going to go Zamir White because I'm just not settled on the receivers there. I'm going to see who falls to me. I like Shakir. I like Palmer. If those guys could fall in my lap, that would be greatly appreciated. And then I'll feel a lot better about that Zamir White pick. Again, no one's really on Zamir White right now. Folks are kind of fading him. It's happening. But I'm still on board. And I have Devontae Adams, so I have a skinny stack there and an opportunity for a late round stack. And it looks like I will get can't decide if I want more Josh Palmer or more Khalil Shakir. I think overall I have more Palmer. I'm pretty positive on that. So let's go with Khalil Shakir there. Again, kind of no dissimilar to Ray Davis, right? You're just getting attached to that really good Bills offense. So now, just quick review. Henry, Monty, Zamir White, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, Amari Cooper, George Pickens, Khalil Shakir, Kyle Pitts. We've got some good late round stacking opportunities. We've got Tua, Minshew. Dare I say Watson? Should we do it? Should we make this a Watson episode? Maybe we'll get him as our I don't know. I don't know what we'd get him as. Might be 2. Might be Tua, Watson. You do have that week 17 correlation there, Maybe we buy into that. I don't know. Maybe we get a little weird. Get the massage boy on the table here for us. Such a weird guy. Just to act normal through all that shit. It's just gross. Weird human being, that Deshaun Watson. Just love the Jameis Winston energy far more. Does he make sense ever? No. Is he fun? Yes. Is Deshaun Watson fun? Not really. He was. He used to be. Not anymore. When do you think Deshaun Watson's going to have another 5 touchdown game? Like 5 total touchdown game. I mean, that's what he was before he left, before he was, getting played with. I don't know. Just not that guy anymore to me. Great fall for Josh Palmer. We got him at pick 106. Followed my pick was Chase Brown. Awesome value. Love that pick 100 grab there. Curtis Samuel, not far off my pick. So, very in tune with what I was thinking as well. Javonte, B-Rob, Caleb, David, Joshua, Jonathan, Brian, Billy. Just kidding. Jonathan Brooks, pick 107. I'm so glad that Deontay Johnson is finally the first Panthers player drafted. This is a great spot to draft Jonathan Brooks. Don't get me wrong. I love that value because people have been drafting him as the first Panther off the board in like round 7. Now you're getting him in round 9. That's fantastic. Getting a 24 or whatever, 20 to 24 pick discount because he won't start the season, which we already knew. I might actually buy some more of them. A guy like Jahmyr Gibbs only got like 2, 3, 4 chairs, like very, very little Jonathan Brooks because why? I have a ton of Chuba Hubbard. I believe in Chuba. Throw up the Harvey Dent. I believe in Chuba Hubbard. All right. To end this round, we had Brooks, Purdy, easy round 9, round 10 click at the QB position. I think I will be looking at QB here as well. I think Tua's ADP is coming up for us. Devin Singletary, Trevor Lawrence. Did he get anyone stacked with T-Law? He did. He got ETN, and I bet he got – no, he did not get Kirk, but he got ETN. That's fine. That works. You can work with that. Adonai Mitchell, someone that I was getting really into right at the time that Josh Downs got hurt. Ouch. I mean, yeah, Josh Downs going to miss some time. Hurts for him. Lightens the paycheck a bit. But, man, Adonai Mitchell, of course, he would, start going up the board right when I was thinking about doing it. And, yeah, it just doesn't seem as much of a value now. I still click him when I can. But his cost has definitely gone up in the past weeks with that injury to Josh Downs. I don't know why I just blipped Josh Downs. I'm okay with the value here for receiver and running back. So I am going to get Tua Tagovailoa, but the person next to me decided he wanted to be a juice fest. Punta. You better have a dolphin over here, buddy. No dolphins. You're suspect, pal. You're suspect, pal. I don't like it. You know what? Let's go more Rico Dowdle. Screw it. We're getting more Uncle Rico. Juice Fest. You're on my list. You're suspect, and I don't like it. Yeah, Tua is a good pick. Because he has Tyreek Hill. I mean, he's got a great offense. They're going to pass the ball a ton. But come on, bro. Just to block me, bro. That's all that was. Get out of here. You already have Jaden Daniels and Terry. I mean, there are some late round stacking opportunities for Tua, but I'll be drafting them. I'm taking Jonnu Smith out of spite, Juice Fest. Hope you're watching. Hope you caught that. Hope you take him 2 rounds ahead of ADP because of it. I don't care. I'm getting another receiver here. Let's go with Jacoby Myers. Let's go all in on that Raiders stack. Maybe we'll go get Gardner Minshew. Yeah, you can take him too, Juice Fest. Go ahead. Take Minshew unstacked, you bum. You bastard. I honestly have a lot of late round. I mean, again, we've got the Raiders with Minshew. We've got Watson if we have to. We've got Wilson with Pickens. Like, we can make some stuff happen here. Cousins and Pitts. We can make some stuff happen here. It's fun to get up and Adams. Juice Fest taking my Austin Eckler. You little bastard. I don't like this Juice Fest character anymore. I don't like him. 2-5-4. No tight ends. Taking tight ends. Let's go. He's going after Jonnu. We're going to get him. We're going to get Jonnu. Thinks he's so clever. Taking my Tua Tagovailoa and not having a tight end drafted yet. Shame on you, Juice Fest. Now that I think about it, you should have just taken a damn tight end there. What's wrong with Pat Freiermuth? What's wrong with Dalton Schultz? What's wrong with those guys, Juice Fest? Eckler, Lockett, Jerry Jeudy, Jalen Polk, Dalton Schultz. Yep, solid there. Jalen Polk definitely getting more run on ADP with the departure of Juju Smith-Schuster, with Kendrick Bourne starting on the pup. Very good situation there for Polk. I like him and Demario Douglas as far as receiver targets. But again, not guys that I feel like I need to draft at ADP. I can typically get a fall for either of them. Nick Chubb goes at 129. I wonder where... Oh, Jerome Ford went at 116. Nice. Okay, so more separation. I like that. I like when there's more separation in favor of Ford. Oh, shit. Got a stretch here. Coming up on hour 2 in 10 minutes. Been a great show, guys. Again, appreciate all of you. Smash that like button, share the video, and follow the Fantasy 6 Pack Network. Get your pack on. Dr. Does Little takes Gabe Davis, pick 131. Not bad. Also getting a nice little connection with T-Law from round 10 to round 11. Let's see what Tony Salz does. Trey Benson, like that pick. Talked about him a little bit. Brandon Cooks, 10 picks after ADP. You did good there, Tony Salz. You did good in that turn. 134 and counting down. I typically get that round 10, round 9 QB. It didn't happen this time. Didn't happen. we're going to have to go through three quarterbacks for sure with this draft, which is fine. I'm not shy to that whatsoever. I think typically I do like to get two elite guys so that I don't need to go get the third. But yeah, even earlier today, I got my Taysom Hill team. I went, was it Anthony Richardson, Dak Prescott, Taysom Hill. Can't start Taysom Hill at tight end. Just took my shot. It's only one I'm going to do it, but I wanted to get one. If you saw an injury to, really any position there, you'll see an increase for Taysom Hill production. Beat reporters have had him lined up everywhere. They've talked about him at receiver, at running back, at tight end, at quarterback. If it's offense and it's not offensive line, he's played the position. Kirk Cousins goes, okay. Okay. They're testing me, and that's okay. It's okay to be tested because I can be tested. That's why I can be tested. Looking for some stacking opportunities potentially. We could do Freiermuth. Dear God, I hope one of these guys takes Freiermuth so this guy doesn't get a huge fall. I guess it's only 10 picks after ADP. Nothing amazing. We take Herbert, as far as getting like our QB1. But we can only stack him with Quentin Johnston, and I don't know how I feel about that. So I don't think I'm going to draft a quarterback right here. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think what I'm going to try to do is maybe get like an Aaron Rodgers, Ty Conklin. Aaron Rodgers is a good late round stack. Probably pass on Stafford, and maybe Watson if he's there. And go with Pat Freiermuth. Get him up with Pickens, no problem there. And that will probably lead us to Russell Wilson. All right, let's see. Back on the board. We're playing chicken here. I'm gonna get some more Xavier Legette because he is a player that I wanted to balance out with my significant Deontay Johnson shares, someone that I'm buying more of to close down the competition. Again, simply just about balancing out. It's no different than me having a lot of Jaleel McLaughlin and now wanting more Javonte Adams because I have over 20% JMC. I want to make sure I'm balancing that out if I'm wrong. They always say to draft best ball teams like you're right. But when that draft is over, you also need to make some healthy assumptions that you were very wrong and that you need to adjust, you need to pivot. And I've probably said the word about 1,000 times this stream, diversify your exposures. Spread it all out. And that's exactly what I'm doing with Xavier Legette. I have plenty of Adam Thielen as well, believe me. So Adam Thielen, not a terrible pick there. But I, again, want to divide it up a little bit more. We are 0-4-7-2. Gosh, this might be another Taysom Hill quarterback team the way it's shaken out here. Let's see. We're pretty much, we're targeting QB at any point now. So no one's going to snipe us. We just need it. We've got 4 guys up, 15 picks until our pick. If we miss these 4 guys who are Herbert, Stafford, Watson, Rodgers, we're really looking thin. Geno, Baker, Will Levis, Sam Darnold, Bo Nix. I'll figure it out, guys. Don't you worry. I'll make it look pretty, but you may not think it looks pretty. It's going to be different, though. It's going to be different. Having Russ Wilson and Minshew as a kind of parachute at QB, though, definitely helps me out a lot. Roman Wilson goes. Ray Davis before that. Cole Kmet, who, as we said, has been falling. Khalil Herbert going round 13. Feels expensive. Feels expensive. I mean, so does JMC in this territory as well, but hey, I'm doing it. Been doing it. Been there. Demario Douglas to Dr. Does Little. Or I'm sorry, to IHRKE 027. Hunter Henry. Yeah, it's getting really it's super thin now, and it's felt that way for some time. So like these late round clicks, they're getting tough. They're getting tough. And if you're not savvy, this is another reason why I love drafting all summer. I'm not trying to cram in 100 of these right now with a 10% to go. It's too intense. It's too difficult. The stacking opportunities are far and few between. There goes Aaron Rodgers. That looks like a dream, or it was a dream. Aaron Rodgers does go. He was that second guy's quarterback. He takes Brown Allen. He's got a stack there. Matthew Stafford goes, leaving behind Justin Herbert and Deshaun Watson. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. Baker is after that. I trust myself to do some decent builds with Baker in the late rounds. Jordan Mason, round 14. Hey, it's better than round 13 that we saw on the last draft. So better, but not great. I'm also not scared to just fire up some Bryce Young. He looks great. Like I said, he's got Canales in his ear. I mean, going to take a big step forward. That offense looks very good. Dortch up to round 14. LQ, what are you doing? I remember the round 18 days. It's so crazy. It feels like literally yesterday. Jalen McMillan, Crazy Brown trying to steal some of my Buccaneer opportunity. There goes Baker. Damn, Dank. You doing a brother like that? I wonder if this guy lets Justin Herbert fall to me. 20 some odd picks past ADP. I mean, Justin Herbert that far past ADP, you just say thank you, and hopefully it can happen again. Good, very good. I mean, completely waiting on QB. We got Justin Herbert, 26 picks after ADP. That feels good. That feels not bad. Do we do it again, guys? I mean, do we just get Deshaun Watson here? I think so. I think with that fall, I mean, they're both falling. What am I even saying? Deshaun Watson was pick 158. He's going at 171. Herbert was pick, what was it? ADP 140, goes to 166. You can't ask for anything better than that. We'll try to get Johnston on the team, maybe even DJ Chark round 18, just to get a stack. I don't know if it's necessary though. You know, I think maybe we just go after the third quarterback, and maybe we just wait. You know, we just see if that's Wilson or we see if that's Minshew, and we take either one. Don't take four quarterbacks. Don't do that. I did it once. It doesn't make it okay. They were all bad, by the way. They were all bad. It was my last 4 picks. And I did it because I'm a crazy person. I'm a degenerate. I don't just want to win Best Ball Mania 5. Like, when I do, I'll probably spend like $250,000 just to make a crown to put on my fucking head, because I want to win this shit so bad. I can't tell you why. It's not because I want to. I have to. I'm sick, literally. Kidding. All jokes aside. No, I just, fantasy addict, love best ball. It's the greatest thing to happen since sliced bread, and I'm not even really that into sliced bread. You know what I mean? So, wheels up on best ball. Wheels up on Underdog. Wheels up. Best Ball Mania 5. Let's ride. Ben Sinnott after Deshaun Watson, Marvin Mims, Gibson, Otten, Lloyd, Tracy, Wandell. I like all of those players. Like, I like all of those guys. The situation, murky for Lloyd and Tracy right now, but I like all of those clicks. That's a great set there in round 15. Sam Darnold, Ty Conklin, Just got a notification that CD Lamb said he never had any doubts about getting a deal done. Shocker, because neither did we. Justice Hill goes round 16. We were talking about him a little bit earlier. Will Levis before him. That guy has Will Levis, A-Rod, and Purdy. Pretty good. If you are in the chat, and you want to show yourself when you're drafting, I will grade your team, and I will be honest. Not even brutally honest, like nice honest. Like, oh, it looks good, even if it's like terrible. I'm like, oh yeah, you could work with this. I'll rate your team. None of you would do it. You just want to continue to snipe, which I would do as well. Although also not really. It's just not a thing for me. Like, I would just rather build my roster based on my build, my opinion, my takes, rather than like, oh, that guy's got Tyreek Hill, I better take Tua. Looking at you, Juice Fest, you bastard. It's just not my thing. Like, if I can make the stacks, cool. If not, I'll do something different. I'll get more creative. I'll get a late round stack. There's always a back door to any window that closes for you in best ball. Like, never believe and never get tilted. Sometimes it can be more difficult than not. Try not to get tilted when you're missing those stacks and missing those picks. Yeah, it probably sounded like I was more upset than I was with the Tua pick, but it also just doesn't make any sense for that guy. And I think that's the part that just kind of bothers me more. Is like, dude, it just doesn't make sense. Like, get over yourself. Do we want to do Isaiah Likely here? No, I don't think so. Although this does. No, he did take Jonnu Smith. He's a bastard. I should have taken him last round. Let's take Quentin Johnston. He's right here. I thought he would go later. He probably would have fell, but I really have no problem taking him at ADP, because we got Herbert on such a huge discount. Like, it makes sense to me. So we're up here very soon again. I don't know if I want to take one of those QBs just because I feel like 196 through pick 213. I could miss them. You know what I mean? I could miss those guys. Drafting now, need another RB, best available. Ramondre, Najee, or Warren. I'm going Najee there. Mr. Endurance, knocking on wood. He's never missed a start. Najee Harris, again, never missed a start in the NFL. I think that's important. It's not to say like, oh, yeah, he's due. He's going to get hurt. I think it's just important to reconcile in between those guys. You got Warren coming in, a little beat up. Ramondre, terrible system. They don't need to use him more than they need to when they're down. I'm getting caught monologuing, so I am just going to take Gardner Minshew here. Sorry. I'm going to do it. Yep, I'm going to do it. I just didn't love anybody there. And, obviously I was, having a little bit of chatter there about Live Creations team, but, that's why we're here. We got to do it. We're here for you guys. But I'm perfectly fine with that. Or I could go wide receiver with Godwin, Scary Terry, or Rome. Of those receivers, the guy that I've drafted the most is definitely Godwin. I am more into Terry right now, but if you're on the clock here, it really depends on your build. If you need a running back right now, if you've drafted a lot of receivers, go Najee. If you're not up to weight on receivers, then I go Terry here. But I still have taken more Godwin. I just love Terry's upside now with Dotson gone, because you have more potential touchdown exposure with Dotson gone. Like, Dotson was a great red zone threat. Terry, I think, can now actually get into like that, like DK Metcalf type of red zone target share. Trying to think of somebody else, like another like bigger receiver, maybe like Olave, because he doesn't have the competition. AJ Brown, he's got more competition in the red zone now. Jamar Chase, like those guys that just get hyper targeted in the red zone. I think he kind of fits that build more so now. Godwin is back in the slot. I like that, with Jalen McMillan being a guy that can open up things downfield. But again, I've drafted a lot of Godwin. He's my most exposed receiver of those receivers. But I like the upside more so now with Terry being there without John Dotson. I mean, Godwin still has Mike Evans. He still has Rashad White. Rashad White's a PPR cookie monster. Nom, 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 nom. Just give me all them catches. Give me all them catches. Bucky Irving could be that guy. Jalen McMillan's going to get a role there. Like, again, I love Chris Godwin. But right now, this close to the end of the season, I would be taking Terry over him a smidge more. Appreciate you, Live Creation. Appreciate you, sir. Let's see. Wow. This round is brutal. Luke McCaffrey, again, overreaction to the Dotson trade. I like De'Ami Brown more. Malachi Corley, we talked about it earlier, could be in a more of a battle than we believe with Gibson. Gibson, not Gibb. Gibson and Alan Lazard, who is a former roommate, potentially still a roommate of Aaron Rodgers. I mean, does Aaron Rodgers feels like the guy that never wants to be alone, kind of like Jerry Maguire. That's the kind of sense. Like, he needs somebody to hear his voice. I feel like him and Lazard might still be living together because he needs that that acknowledgement. He needs to be seen. He needs to be heard. Danica Patrick couldn't do it. She was like, "Bro, you are needy, bro. No thanks." Let's see. Malik Washington, Isaiah Likely, Darius Slayton. Love that click at 203. Jordan Winnington. Chiga Conko, at one time this best ball summer, he was my most exposed tight end. Then it was Jatavian Sanders, and now it is the man, Evan Ingram. Will Shipley, Audric Estime, Zach Ertz going off the board. Zach Ertz praying that he gets traded to someone relevant. We still only have 4 running backs here, guys. We need a running back. We kind of forgot about it. We already have Derrick Henry, Monty, Zamir White, Rico Dowdle. Let's take a peek here. I have too much Dame Pierce. We're going to stay off of him. Elijah Mitchell, he gone. Hey, Alexander Madison, he's here in line for a running back 2 role. And we already have Zamir White, so screw it. We'll go double RB there. It's only 5 running backs. I don't love to do that, but I rest assured, I'm pretty confident with Henry, with Montgomery. Good handcuff, really. I mean, it's almost kind of like going with a 4 running back build because I have that handcuff there. So really, Madison's biggest upside to me is if Zamir White gets hurt. But again, going pretty early on running back and waiting for a long time, I'll be okay with that. I'll live. Probably my 3rd draft so far this summer where I've done that, where I've done double RB, same roster with only 5 guys. It's really not a problem if you take it to 6. It creates more of a lineup or an inefficiency problem with 5. Also in a super flex league, got Jordan Love already. Give me a second good late QB stack skill players first. So Live Creation, do you want late round like draft targets? Like so for example, I love Dontavian Wicks. He's a later round guy that you can pair with Jordan Love. If I'm looking for later round in totality, Palmer and Herbert, that's a great one that I love. Let's see, Minshew, Trey Tucker, if you want to really go balls deep, but Minshew and Myers, Jacoby would work as well. Drake May and any combination of Jalen Polk, Demario Douglas. Super flex league, I think that warrants a little bit more credence because you're dipping into that second QB mix, so he could be maybe a better 3rd guy even on a super flex team, probably, right? Let's see who else late round. Watson doesn't have any real late round stack options. You could do Baker Mayfield and Jalen McMillan, or Baker Mayfield, Kate Otten. He's not a receiver. Bucky Irving's back there with him as well, if you're looking for something like that. You said skill player, so I'm not sure. Let's see who else. Matthew Stafford and Jordan Winnington is becoming a pretty regular thing as far as stacking in the late rounds. I think I still prefer Demarcus Robinson. He and Stafford look pretty good with each other down the stretch of last year. I'm, again, still more willing to buy Robinson at his established value rather than Whittington's emerging value to close down this contest. Rodgers and kind of any of those guys, got Evans, so maybe Baker. Yeah, I mean, that's perfect. I mean, if you have Evans, and yeah, I mean, if you're looking early and late, I mean, there's so many options. I mean, Kirk Cousins is going late in super flex leagues. I'd imagine he's getting a little bit better value. So kind of putting that into my head, like, because it's super flex. And if you're talking about like late round super flex guys, you probably are talking about like Derek Carr and maybe like Rashid Shaheed. It really isn't early, but yeah, like Derek Carr, Olave. If you're talking early and late, that would be a combo. You could do Derek Carr and Johnson late. Who else? Will Levis, Calvin Ridley. That's an early and late that I like. Calvin Ridley kind of more mid-round. I'm not into Levis and Traylon Burks. That would be like late round and stuff like that. Been grabbing Will Levis late a bunch. Thoughts? Will Levis is my most exposed quarterback in best ball. So it's not a ton. It's only about 15 or 16%. I've really diversified the position, but because of his value, because I'm constantly picking Calvin Ridley, that meant that I was also grabbing a lot of Will Levis. Calvin Ridley is my 5th most exposed player, period. Will Levis is my most exposed quarterback. So there's that correlation there. But yeah, we are going to shut down the stream. Live creation. Tom, appreciate you jumping in the chat. We will try to be back next week for another episode of Ball Mania 5. I've only got 13 drafts left. I can't promise anything. I will try. If not, then we will jump into some battle royales, some underdog battle royales for our last week of content for best ball stuff here on the Fantasy Six Pack Network. I'm going to head out. Take care. Be well. Be good. But if you can't be good at it. We'll see you. Where's my mouse? Just kidding. Later, guys.